It is 10:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans held rookie minicamp over the weekend with the 2025 draft class and UDFAs on the practice field for the first time. Quarterback Cam Ward met with the media after practice and was asked what kind of impression he wants to make on his new teammates.
Just about business. I really want to be a pro. I want to be one of the great ones, and I just want to be a good teammate at the end of the day. I want to win a lot of football games in my career, and I'm excited to be around good vets like Ridley, good guys up front like Lloyd and JC and those guys. So I'm excited, and I'm ready to get to work with them come next week.
The 2025 NFL regular season will open in the NFC East on September 4th. The defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles will host the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. The complete NFL schedule will be released this Wednesday. In NFL news over the weekend, Saints quarterback Carr is retiring at the age of 34. His status for 2025 was in doubt as he recovers from a shoulder injury. The four-time Pro Bowler played 11 years for the Raiders and Saints. College baseball, Vanderbilt took the rubber match Sunday, defeating Tennessee 7-5 after a lengthy delay to take the series. Vandy 16-11 in SEC play. Tennessee is 15-12. And Nashville Soccer Club came back to beat Charlotte 2-1 Saturday at Geodis Park. Hani Mukhtar and Jacob Schaffelberg, the goal scorers. Nashville up to 5th in the East with the win. They'll turn around to host New York Red Bulls on Wednesday. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
All right, fun's over. I'm back, but we got a million different things to talk about. Restore order around here. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a great break from me. I know Lucas and Bert did a great job. In the meantime, 615-737-1045 is the number. If you would like to get involved, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and on Twitch are also available to you if you would like to interact with the F&M Bank chat there. You had Vols and Vandy squaring off in baseball. Perhaps we would get to that at some point today. You got Derek Carr's retirement. You had Titans back on the field for rookie minicamp and all the Cam Ward thirst trap videos that you could possibly ask for. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do it all for you this morning. How are we living, boys?
Living good. We enjoyed Thursday and Friday without you.
I'm sure.
Addition by subtraction is what folks call it, I believe. But what was the most thirst-trapping clip from rookie minicamp? Like, I'm surprised there wasn't as much Cam Ward throwing the ball to Restrepo, like highlights floating around social media, as I thought there might be.
Well, that's because the rules have changed. They don't let you film the parts of practice where the quarterback throws to the wide receiver.
Yeah, well, I am watching a clip right now of Cam Ward throwing to a receiver on the Titans Twitter account.
From
team. I'm talking about, I'm just talking about Titans content.
Yeah, that was the thirst trappiest tweet that I saw. Was the Titans putting it out to the outstretched arms of Xavier Restrepo.
Yes.
That's the good stuff.
And that was a team. Yeah, the team is allowed to do that. There are different rules for the media. Why that is the case, that is beyond me, but that's neither here nor there. So that was the thirst trappiest video that existed, and to be honest with you, Xavier Restrepo, I know, it's rookie minicamp, so Ridley is not out there, Tyler Lockett is not out there, and so on and so forth, but Xavier Restrepo, the best wide receiver on the field, and it wasn't particularly close to me. Now, of course, these things are early, and we'll work our way through the discussion, all the different discussions that were had out of rookie minicamp. There's a lot to learn. This draft class is fascinating. You guys have a new UDFA infatuation. Why wouldn't you? Like I said, he is an impressive player for a UDFA. And Xavier Restrepo is going to be an interesting figure in that wide receiver room as we move forward, because vets report today, and they will be in the building with the rookies for the first time, and we will get the voluntary work, the OTAs, all the good stuff here up and rolling in the next couple of weeks. We do also have the 2025 season opener where the Eagles will host the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL kickoff game. I will watch it. We will all watch it. We will all be delighted to have football back in our lives. I am very disappointed that they just went with the most cliche season opening matchup that they could do, which is the Eagles and the Cowboys. I don't care about the Dallas Cowboys. They're not relevant in the landscape of the NFL other than they are the biggest brand in the NFL, but I suppose that's what the money's for, the TV.
But you do care about the Dallas Cowboys because they traded for George Pickens, and we talked about it for 40 minutes after they did. We care about what happens with Micah Parsons and what was happening with CeeDee Lamb and everything that was around Dak Prescott before his deal. So whether you like it or not, the Dallas Cowboys are interesting. Annoying,
not as a football
but
team.
Interesting.
They're way more interesting. Again, are they important or are they interesting? They are interesting. Yep. They are unimportant.
They are interesting, which, as you know, is what matters for things like this.
We also will have schedule release on Wednesday, which I know you all are very excited about. I think we are also collectively excited about that, just so we can go about the process of planning our lives around the football team. And I would caution you, as always, that the schedule leaks on Twitter are almost always fake, and to not put any stock into it, and just wait until Wednesday night at 7 p.m., and then you'll know for sure, instead of getting all hot and bothered or butthurt or whatever you might be about fake schedule things. Because if I remember correctly, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, where some dude was just putting out fake schedules. And then tweeted afterwards, "Gotcha, mother effers." I almost said a bad word. It's been a little while since I've been in front of an FCC-safe microphone. But yes, rookie minicamp was enjoyable. It was good to be back out there. Good to start to get to know these rookies. They wouldn't let us talk to the UDFAs, which I was disappointed by. I thought that was a missed opportunity. And also, speaking of things that they did with the draft picks, and I'm sure the UDFAs went to the Savannah Bananas sellout crowd at Nissan Stadium on Saturday night, which was very impressive to see. I didn't get to go. I know you were doing soccer. I was doing Fox. Robert, I don't suppose you ended up at the Savannah Bananas game. That seems very much your vibe.
No, not at all.
Really? Completely uninterested in the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball.
If I'm going to watch a fake sport, catch me at WWE.
Really?
Yep.
I am shocked to know that. So it's not serious enough for you. You who are the least serious person I know.
It's just not. I don't know, the TikTok dances. I don't like watching baseball regularly, let alone when people are doing TikTok
but
dances.
This is not baseball.
Well, I know they're trying to get all the old women all jazzed up, which I'm here for. If y'all want to get all the old ladies out there in a tizzy, do that. But it's just not for me.
It is an impressive production. I'll give them that.
Yes.
Every show, every game is totally different, and they do, I don't know how many throughout the course of the year, hundreds. So it is very impressive what they do, but I'm with you. I wouldn't bend over backwards to go. I was surprised to learn that they were at Nissan Stadium. They've come through here in recent past and gone to the Sounds ballpark. And, it's an instant sellout. So, they are a huge draw, though, the Savannah Bananas.
It was a sellout crowd. They won't sell tickets for more than $25, which means that people will scavenge them and scoop them up and then resell them for like $400 a pop in the lower bowl or something outrageous.
I knew I missed something this weekend. That's what I should have been doing.
What, scalping?
Just buying
Buddy,
all
you
of those.
could have made your nut like people do on these Taylor Swift tickets, where they just scoop them all up and then sell them for outrageous amounts of money. Terrible missed opportunity by you. So it was a busy weekend in Nashville, and a lot of different things to learn from the rookie minicamp. We're going to get into camp observations. I do want to spend a little time, because we don't have any dedicated time for it, in the middle of or throughout the course of the show today. Vandy made a statement over the weekend, and I don't know did you preview much of the baseball series between Tennessee and Vandy?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it on Friday. This is now 4 straight SEC series dropped by Tennessee, and that was a big step for Vanderbilt for home field in the postseason. That was a huge series and came down to the wire on Sunday after an incredibly long rain delay.
So I don't think that collectively we have turned our attention to college baseball yet. We typically wait until things die down around football and the initial onset of rookie minicamp and OTAs and things like that before at least we as a show pivot. I'll catch a couple of games on SEC Network just in the background if I'm working at home or something like that, but I haven't really dialed in. What the hell is going on with your baseball team?
Yeah, things just aren't clicking right now. Tony Vitello tinkering with the lineup. Errors are plaguing them. They're leaving runners stranded, not able to get timely hits. That was certainly the case. They lost that game 7-5, bottom of the ninth with bases loaded. Left all 3 stranded, and Tennessee drops the series after taking game 1 and losing game 2 in a game that wasn't particularly close. So, yeah, they're kind of I don't know. They're in a weird place right now where Tennessee hasn't had this sort of run since 2023, where they really didn't get their footing in SEC play until, I don't know, mid-April when they ran into Vanderbilt. And they swept Vanderbilt, and that totally turned around their season, and they ended up in Omaha. And then last year, they were a buzzsaw all year long. That looked like it carried over into the front of this year, especially offensively. And they've just kind of hit a stuttering point here in the last month or so and haven't really been able to find themselves. And that was a huge series win. I mean, it was a chippy series, as it typically is between the two.
Game 3, it was definitely a lot more contentious. I thought they kept it pretty together through the first 2 games.
I mean, after that final out, the dugout spilling out onto the field, there was some pushing and shoving, words being exchanged. And look, I don't blame Vanderbilt for being boisterous on the way out. They were sitting there just getting it from Tennessee fans all weekend long, and they get that big emotional series win. And obviously, Tennessee has kind of taken back some of the success in that series. Vanderbilt deservedly wins over the weekend. But yeah, Vols have some work to do here at the tail end of the year. One more conference series left before the tournament.
As I mentioned, 615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to let your thoughts be heard. How was the game terminal thing? Did you guys do the game terminal?
That's coming up on Saturday.
How was your sports, kids? Did you guys win? The game's not till Wednesday, Dad.
I do love when he does.
When are you going to stop being drunk at my games?
So much confidence, too. Join us on Saturday at Game Terminal for 4th Annual Beer Fest benefiting the Nashville Humane Association.
Can I just buy a ticket to that so I can support the animals but not have to go?
$40 online, $50 at the door. I don't know why you wouldn't want to go. It's a day filled with beer, cider, and alcohol tastings. Beer tastings, a gift bag, and swag, all included with your purchase. And like we said, a portion of proceeds going to Nashville Humane Association.
It's got absolutely nothing to do with Game Terminal or the great activities and the beverages and everything else that will be flowing. I just don't want to spend any more time than I have to with you two.
1045thezone.com is where you can go buy tickets. We'll be there.
Let's get to the phones to start us off before we get into some Titans camp observations. How about Stanley in Hendersonville up first?
What's going on, guys? I got some people been wondering on X, on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
People have been asking, are the Vandy boys back?
Well, that would imply that they went somewhere, though. Like, Vanderbilt they've still been good. It's just that Tennessee, coming off a national championship, I mean, it's got to feel good, though, for Vandy as to see Tennessee crash out. I assume you're a Vandy fan, Stanley?
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean,
yeah.
You didn't go anywhere, though. You didn't really go anywhere, did you?
No. We didn't really go anywhere. But I'm just curious about this rivalry with Tennessee, though. I mean, is it something to be considered now that we've beaten you on basketball, beaten you on women's basketball as well, beaten you on baseball? I mean, is this a real deal? Like, is Vandy back in general?
Yeah, I mean, the athletics department's in a better place than it's been in a very, very long time. And baseball is where Tennessee Vandy has the most juice in terms of a rivalry.
Oh, by a mile, at least from my observations. I mean, I understand that the football program is coming off of one of its most successful seasons, arguably ever, especially given the magnitude of the Alabama upset. So, yeah, I mean, all credit in the world to Vandy. Athletics as a whole. Now, Tennessee is obviously good at just about everything as an athletics department right now. So I still think you're looking up at Big Brother that way if you're a Vandy sports fan generally. But I don't have a problem with Vandy fans being a little chippy today. I got no issue with that at all. In fact, I love it. More hate in sports.
For sure. We talked about it Friday. That is, without a doubt, the best version of the Tennessee-Vanderbilt rivalry is on the baseball diamond when you have two, at this point, basically perennial contenders year in and year out.
Taylor is suggesting that I buy 2 tickets to the game terminal thing and then give them away as a prize. Am I allowed to do that? I'm happy to do that. Is that something that I can do?
I'm not stopping you.
Hey, you, who was supposed to be the suit back there.
Who, me?
Yes, you, who continues to tell me that you have titles and power that I have yet to see manifest in any real form or action. Am I allowed to buy tickets and give them away?
Sure.
All right, very good. We can figure that out at a later date.
Good.
Inevitably, when somebody forgets to put prizes in the prize bucket for me to give away tomorrow.
That works.
Okay. 615-737-1045. What was the biggest thing that you learned coming out of Titans rookie minicamp? I'll give you my observations coming up next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Titans rookie minicamp. Done and dusted. On to the next. 2 days of work, 1 day that was open to media. So can't speak to what went down on Friday, but by the way, destination wedding on a Friday to come back and hit a Titans rookie minicamp, 10 out of 10 would not recommend. That was doing a little too much this weekend. But got to take it all in, made it for Brian Callahan's press conference, saw your quarterback. He's exciting. Saw the UDFA wide receiver that you guys are very much excited about and was more impressed with him than I was the other two in particular. Again, don't know how Chimere Dike and Alec Iamaner practiced on Friday. They didn't have a bad practice on Saturday, but it was clear and obvious that Cam Ward's significantly more comfortable with a guy that he just spent a year at Miami with, and that helped, I felt like, him be as comfortable as I've seen any rookie quarterback that I've covered getting out there in an NFL environment. Just kind of, give him training wheels. And the training wheels just happen to be arguably the most productive wide receiver in the history of the University of Miami, which is kind of crazy to think about.
It is crazy. Like some of the, Hall of Fame caliber receivers.
Reggie Wayne, Michael Irvin, there's
Andre Johnson.
Yeah, the list goes on.
Long list. Santana Moss, Xavier Restrepo, all-time in yards, all-time in, I believe, catches, and is it also touchdowns? I don't know if he has the touchdowns.
I know for sure receptions.
Yeah, receptions and yards for sure. Over 2,500 yards in his career.
So let me get to quickly the news items of guys that we didn't see, because Kevin Winston Jr., he's limited is how they would describe him right now. Again, they fully expect him ready to go for training camp, but training camp is not till basically the end of July. So they got time to continue to work with him and as he rehabs from the ACL tear that knocked him out of the 2024 college football season. Then you also had Kalel Mullings, who was present but not doing everything that they might have liked for him to do because of a core injury, is what Brian Callahan described it at. Apparently that was something that they knew coming in. I don't know if it was a residual injury from his season at Michigan, but continuing to work his way back from a core injury, so he was limited as well. I thought Cam looked great. There's really not much more to add about the way that he goes through his process. His throwing motion is unconventional, but you've just dealt with a quarterback who had an unconventional throwing motion, so that's something that is not foreign to you. But it was interesting to talk to Iamaner in particular about it. And Robert, I didn't think to ask you to pull this for me, but it would be worth having.
But I already did.
Did you really? Well, can I hear from Alec Iamaner? Talking about, is it the exchange that I had with him about Cam on time every time?
It's been great, yeah. It's he gets the ball out really fast, which is great, and it's something that I have to get used to for sure. And so I'm excited to work with him in the future.
What's kind of the biggest adjustment you have to make to that effect on your end?
Oh, you just have to be ready. You know that he's going to be on time every time, and so you have to have that in mind every time. Like if you're late, you're late, and because he's not going to be late.
Every time?
Yeah, he's going to be on time every time.
I'm going to save that for prime time. Whenever people say that they like to call prime time anytime because Buck will be 20, 30, 40 an hour late.
I've never been an hour late.
So I'm going to save this for that.
You're late, and because he's not going to be late.
I've never been late to prime time. It doesn't start until I get there.
A wizard arrives precisely when he means to. Not a moment before or after.
So that was Alec Iamaner, the fourth-round wide receiver, one of the fourth-round wide receivers that the Titans did add. And like I said, I didn't think they had a bad day at practice. There was just noticeably more drops from everybody not named Xavier Restrepo throughout the course of practice, whether it was the tryout guys, whether it was the draft picks, whether it was the UDFAs.
One of the tryout guys, sorry, Bert, go ahead.
I do have his records at Miami, by the way. He holds for receptions, he holds the career and single season record. For receiving yards, he owns the career. And for receiving touchdowns, he is fourth with 21 behind Michael Irvin, Lamar Thomas, Leonard Hankerson.
Pretty good.
The other thing that I took away from rookie minicamp, because obviously there will be a great deal of discussion around the offensive players and the skill players in particular, but I'm fascinated to see what they do with Femi Oladejo, who looks, it's the first time that I have seen him in person, was on Saturday, And the idea that that guy was an off-ball linebacker is kind of crazy to me because he physically looks like he is already an NFL pass rusher, understanding that he is new to the role, but he has the proper tools. He is also flying around the field the entire time, talking, yelling, gassing guys up. He's just he seems, again, I think I saw Austin Stanley put this out on Twitter, and it's a good observation by Austin, and something that I think, talked to Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker a great deal about throughout the course of the draft nights, is that it's just a very mature group of rookies.
I was going to say, Cam Ward sounds like a 10-year vet when he talks to the media.
Correct.
It's insane. And I found that of a lot of these rookies, namely outside of Ward, Gunnar Helm. Gunnar Helm sounds like a guy that is used to meeting with you guys and just walking up to the podium after practice and talking about what he saw out there today.
It was almost weird to me, Lucas, how comfortable they all were in that setting. Just because it's the first rookie class that I've been around that there's not at least some level of awkwardness or I don't know, not necessarily understanding how to do. And the PR staff obviously preps them every year, but these guys were just naturals.
Yeah, and they seem to be just very comfortable public speakers also. A lot of players just don't like being up there in front of people regardless.
And eventually when they start to lose football games, they will also not like them being up there in front of us. But
and it's not to crown them. We don't know if any of them are going to be good or work out, but they certainly seem like they've been there before. And a lot of them come from big-time programs, so maybe it shouldn't be a huge shock.
Yeah, but I mean, and there is more media exposure now in college football than there ever has been. And many of them team captains, right? They understand how it is to, one, command a room, and two, basically hold people's attention. And that's something that was emphasized at every level of this draft class. But on the field, I thought that it was everything that you expected to see. Gunnar Helm in particular, I'm curious to see how they're going to use him with the other two, in Chigakonkwo and Josh Wiley. I imagine that he has some versatility. He spoke to that effect on Saturday with us because he was asked how he thinks or what his skill set lends itself best to right out of the gate. And he said, in his college career, he had a couple of different roles and basically just adjusted as he needed to. It's not you're just an inline tight end or just a guy that splits out wide. You're going to be asked to do a variety of different things. But again, the combination of the three of them is something that I'm curious to see how they go about deploying, but that's, way on down the road.
We had Mike Herndon on the show on Thursday when you were gone and asked him the question, outside of Cam Ward, which rookie will have the most opportunity to make an impact, just given what he's surrounded by? And his answer was Gunnar Helm, which I wasn't quite expecting, not because the tight end room is solidified and he's going to have to battle his way across these accomplished vets. But, here's Mike Herndon.
I think Gunnar Helm is going to get, and I know people are going to roll their eyes, calling me a Texas homer right now, probably into the radio, but I think, Chigakonkwo is ideally suited to be more of a complimentary tight end anyways. He's a good player, not taking a shot at Chig or anything, but I think Helm is going to quickly surpass Josh Wiley because I think he does all of the things that they wanted Wiley to do, but does them at a higher level. And obviously this is a new regime, and they've now invested directly in Helm. And I think Helm's going to play right away. I think he's going to be a third down red zone weapon right away. And I could see him being a great safety blanket for Cam Ward early in his career. The guy catches everything, huge frame, huge target, and is able to go high point the football with the best of them. So I think he's going to be a guy that we could see some early contribution from in this draft class.
That was Mike Herndon with us when we were broadcasting out at Hermitage Golf Course for the Buddy Allen Carpet One Tunnel to Towers golf tournament. By the way, join the zone for our 2025 Golf Classic presented by Ferguson Monday, June 9th. We'll be at Nashville Golf and Athletic Club. Every show broadcasting live in the heart of Cool Springs. A historic golf course features breathtaking panoramic views of the beautiful Middle Tennessee countryside. Purchase your team today. You've got 2 flights, 8 a.m. or 1 p.m., and spend the day teeing off with us. Go to 1045thezone.com to purchase a team.
So that is interesting from Mike, and Mike is a diehard Texas fan, so I understand why that might have a degree of bias with him, but his explanation makes sense. Wiley's most impressive feature or ability is what?
His height?
He's 6'7". He's a giant. So theoretically, you should just be able to find him roaming around in the end zone. He just post somebody up because God forbid a 6-foot linebacker gets stuck on him, and he's just a giraffe running around back there. Now, he is also somebody who was derailed by injury last year, and that is going to be an interesting thing to see because he was one who decided he was going to wear the Guardian cap in game, which I respect and appreciate because he's got to be as available as humanly possible, and that's just going to increase your percentage chance. That's why I was frustrated with Traylon Burks for not being interested in wearing the Guardian cap, even though he's somebody who's got concussion problems. That was confusing to me. Anyway.
At least one of the tryout guys at receiver is getting a deal, it seems. Brett Tessler announcing that his agent, or his client, I should say, TJ Sheffield, is being signed by the Titans. UConn receiver. Yeah, local guy, went to Independence High School and then went to Purdue. Highly recruited guy, 4-star prospect coming out. I remember covering his games in high school and ended up at UConn with his most productive year last year. So sounds like he'll be in the mix in training camp.
So that's basically everything that I had coming out of rookie minicamp. I don't know how closely you guys were paying attention to press conference discussion. And in fact, Bert, if you do find that Gunnar Helm audio, let me know because I do think it would be interesting, or the audience would be interested in hearing from him. There's just so many of them that are fascinating figures in this. I think that I don't know how this Titan season is going to go for a great many reasons. You never know how any football season is going to go. But I am so curious to see whether they have done enough for Cam Ward as far as the skill players. Because in theory, what they have done makes a lot of sense. But I still can't help that there is a need there in that pass-catching group that couldn't be bolstered by a Keenan Allen type figure or an Amari Cooper type of figure. Cost dependent, of course. You're not going to spend just for the sake of spending. But there's going to be a lot that these guys are going to be, are just going to have, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for them right out of the gate across the board, whether it be Helm or Iamaner or DK at this point in time. We'll see what happens with the later round guys. But those three in particular, Tyler Lockett is a solid player. He is somebody who is in an advanced stage. I don't know how much support Cam Ward is going to have at the onset. These are players who feel to me like they will end up being good football players, provided that they pan out and avoid injury and all these different things in like 2 to 3 years. But this year, I'm so fascinated to see how this goes with what they've added because I still am left a little wanting. And that's not just because of practice and there were some drops and things like that, but just generally, like as I'm thinking about what this team has done collectively this offseason, including the draft class relative to the rest of the league. Doesn't mean that I think they did a bad job or that they did a bad job drafting or anything like that. I just don't know if there's not more to be done there. And there's still time to add pieces and parts as necessary.
I mean, right now, Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett, you look at as locks to make the roster, the 53.
So who's your starting slot?
Well, they're working Restrepo in the slot. We know that. I know Brian Callahan said that on Saturday. That's kind of how they view him. You're looking at DK. I think Tyler Lockett is probably your starting slot, though.
Probably.
So either way, just to make the roster in that receiver room, Lockett and Ridley feel like locks. I know Van Jefferson is not the kind of player that you sign and say he's locked in, but like, look at this receiver room. It's very hard.
That's what I'm saying.
Van Jefferson is right up there. He's the third guy in that room that has done anything in the NFL at that position. And then you get down to the rookies and Traylon Burks, and then down to Jaquan Jackson and Mason Kinsey. But I don't know where the churn with the guys that are currently there really starts, right? You figure Ridley, Lockett, Van Jefferson, the 2 drafted guys, and Traylon Burks, that's already 6 before you start to get to Jaquan Jackson and Mason Kinsey and the TJ Sheffields of the world. So your receiver room might already largely be made up unless you add somebody.
Like I said, I would advocate for them to continue to add reliable veteran presence in that room, even if Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper is not overwhelmingly appealing to you at this point in their careers. I do want you to hear from Gunnar Helm talking about what kind of tight end he is or where he thinks his strengths lie the most. This was the rookie tight end at rookie minicamp on Saturday.
I feel like you're more of an inline tight end or more of a split tight end. What do you feel like is your strength?
To be honest, it's not really up to me. It's all Coach Callahan's vision for me. However I can help the team, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I played both in college. I think it's a pretty big misconception that, might not have had a great blocking year last year, but, for 3 years, including my freshman year, true freshman year, I was blocking, a prime Arkansas defense on the road in Fayetteville when I was 18 years old as the starting Y. And then those next 2 seasons behind a, really good tight end, Jatavian Sanders, up there with Carolina, just developed, went into each week preparing like I was a starter, grasped the offense, and then obviously met with my coach and, went off and running from there, just how to get better, what I needed to do. But I think I portrayed everything in college. I think in line, in the slot, even out wide. I've done some stuff in the backfield. I mean, it's really however Coach Callahan wants to use me.
That's Gunnar Helm speaking about his potential deployment on Saturday. 615-737-1045 is how you join the discussion. You are welcome to do so at any point. Is there a rookie beyond Cam Ward that you're excited about? That could be a draft pick. That could be a UDFA. It could be an interest level in the tryout players. Chimere Dike also gave a good quote that I think is relevant to his current situation that, again, might shorten the learning curve for him in one department. It's going to be, rookies are drinking through a fire hose in the NFL, no matter where they go or how equipped they are coming in. But I believe Tehran asked him the question about having 2 quarterbacks last year at Florida and the necessary adjustments that are required as a wide receiver and how that might have benefited him or how that might benefit him just having that experience. You work with different players throughout the course of your career, especially in this transfer type of situation. But Graham Mertz blow out his knee? What happened to Graham Mertz?
It was against Tennessee. Maybe it was a knee. I can't remember exactly what the injury was. But yeah, it was against Tennessee that it ended his season.
People are also asking in the chat, many people are asking if you have a court date today.
I wear one button down to the show. Everybody's like, why is Lucas dressed to the nines?
No, nobody said you were dressed.
Why does Lucas look so fashionable and good and handsome today? Guys, calm down. Calm down.
I don't think that's what happened there. Why do you look like a narc? There's already one of those wandering around down here, and he can't even get his own title right. 615-737-1045 is the number. Speaking of the University of Tennessee, Joey Aguilar on campus. We'll talk about it next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. So we'll get back to Titans rookie minicamp observations. We'll talk more about Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo and our early expectations for the two of them. But in the meantime, we do have a little bit. I guess it is news that Joey Aguilar is arriving on campus at Tennessee. I guess the most important thing that people need to be thinking about right now at this particular point in time is the quarterback competition, obviously. And I wonder, and so I ask you, resident Vols fans, and everybody who would be interested in weighing in on this, who do you want to win this quarterback competition? I was at a wedding in Palmetto Bluff, South Carolina on Friday night, and the couple is from Tennessee. One played baseball at Tennessee and MTSU. The other's from Brentwood. And so a lot of the wedding party was comprised of Vols fans. And, obviously, Nico came up and Cam Ward came up and everything else that they wanted to know about what's going on with their favorite teams. But in particular, it was curious to me and it was a small sample size. It was like 5 or 6 dudes that ended up asking me questions or talking about it to me at some point in time, how excited they were for Joey Aguilar sight unseen, a player who, I assume not many Vols fans saw him at App State unless you've gone back and watched him after the fact. And then he transfers to UCLA, and then he very quickly transfers out of UCLA because of the whole Nico development, or as Josh Heupel likes to call it, the Joey Aguilar situation as opposed to the Nico Iamaleava situation. But I guess do Vols fans just assume that this is who they want, even though they probably know less about this quarterback than they do the other two on the roster?
Well, this is the guy that you are bringing in place of Nico Iamaleava, that you are paying, not insignificant NIL money to, over $1 million in NIL for Joey Aguilar. So he's expected to be in the driver's seat. There will be a contingent of Tennessee fans that like Jake Merklinger, and he went from kind of the solidified backup throughout spring to suddenly QB1 at the spring game when the Nico stuff had just come down and the dust hadn't really settled yet. So he's going to get every chance to compete. His obvious leg up is having, at this point, 2 spring practices under his belt in the system, 1 entire season as the third-string quarterback where he did get into a couple games, threw, I think, 9 passes last season as a Tennessee Vol. So that's the leg up that both he and McIntyre have, is the knowledge of the system. It's not unprecedented for Tennessee to bring in a quarterback after the spring portal and they win the starting job. Year 1 of Josh Heupel. He went into spring ball. There was a collection of quarterbacks that were held over from the Pruitt era. One of them was Hendon Hooker. Another was Caden Salter, who he gets kicked off the team, and they kind of get to the end of spring ball, and he goes and gets Joe Milton. Joe Milton comes in, arrives about the same time as Aguilar arrives, as Austin Price reported on Friday that today, Monday, May 12th, will be Joey Aguilar's first day on campus after finally getting through all his academic stuff. He's officially graduated from App State. He was able to drop his classes from UCLA, and he got all of that done, and he is finally in Knoxville, according to Austin Price. Joe Milton came in after that spring ball, and he won the starting job. We know what happened. He got hurt. Hendon Hooker comes in. The rest is history. So it's not unprecedented, but obviously there's going to be a lot of moving parts for Joey Aguilar. He has to move to Knoxville. He has to get to know his teammates. He has to get to know the city, the facility, the people that work there, the offense, the install, his coaches. Things are going to be moving 100 miles an hour for him in the coming weeks and months. But I'd say he's in the driver's seat, and I'd say the majority of Tennessee fans believe he will have the highest upside for instant success with this offense, given his experience and his skill set that could play into the hands of a successful Tennessee offense.
And that's what they've been told by people who are more familiar with Joey Aguilar than them, right? People who have talked about him as a player prior to his commitment or prior to his transferring to Tennessee. And again, he ranked highly on App State's career list for touchdown passes, and passing yards. I think he's number 5 all-time in both of those categories.
Yeah, broke a couple single-season records in his really productive 2023 season before the team as a whole took a big step back in 2024.
So I wonder, though, if it's not some level of, and he may end up being the best option and winning the quarterback competition soundly, and there's no question about it whatsoever. But in the onset, like, what do Vols fans want as kind of the entry point for our conversation? I see a comment here on YouTube that I think speaks to what I think is going on, or largely what I think is going on, in that Taylor saying, I do want Aguilar to come in and start and have some amount of success to say they were just fine without Nico. That Tennessee fans want to see Aguilar win the job, assuming that he's the best person for the job, but also so they can turn around and say, yes, suck it, Nico. We didn't need you in the first place. Look at this guy. We just found him. We're paying him less than half what we were paying you, and he's better. So maybe he ends up being the best guy for the job, but I'm curious to know how much of that, if Vols fans are self-aware about their desire for that beyond just, okay, get me the best player at the position in the room.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously what people will care about the most, but no question. I mean, people are going to be keeping up with Nico at every turn in 2025 at UCLA. Just what he's doing week to week, every time he has a bad game, there will be folks talking about it. So absolutely, it's going to be impossible. It's like the Traylon Burks, A.J. Brown thing, right? Unfair to Traylon Burks to get drafted into that situation.
Oh, I don't even think that's a comparison you should make, given what Nico was last year.
But it is completely unfair, but still impossible not to compare the career of Traylon Burks to what A.J. Brown was, because the Titans thought we can get A.J. Brown for way cheaper. John Robinson thought we can do that, right? It's not a similar situation. My point is, it's going to be impossible not to look at those two side by side as to what they're doing because of how insane the situation was. Aguilar comes in, replacing Nico, and, in a way, Tennessee is saying, yeah, I mean, we maybe not Joey Aguilar is a cheaper Nico Iamaleava, but no, we're not going to pay you this. We're going to go get somebody that can come in and do a job. And we'll see. We'll see what the upside is. It's so hard to gauge expectations for this team, man.
I anything beyond 8 wins is house money to me.
Sure. I mean, Tennessee is talented. Like, they are, but just so unproven at every turn. Like, when you look at who they need to replace James Pierce Jr., all three of those guys that are in that mix, Joshua Josephs, Caleb Herring, and Jordan Ross, either 4 or 5-star talents. Like, the kind of recruits that you want to be just sitting there waiting to be the next man up when someone like James Pierce Jr. gets drafted in the first round. But we haven't seen them make that much of an impact week to week. Joshua Josephs was a solid secondary pass rusher for Tennessee last year, but he might have to be the guy this year. Caleb Herring has to take a big step. Jordan Ross, same with the receiver position, man. Mike Matthews, we know what kind of talent he was coming out as a blue-chip 5-star player. Now he has to do it. And so that kind of colors almost the entirety of Tennessee's roster this year, is talented on paper, but completely unproven in most spots.
Well, and the quarterback conundrum is even more fascinating from this standpoint, because we'll find out what matters more. But at the onset, again, one of many questions is, what matters more at this point in time to Josh Heupel and to the staff? Aguilar has the most experience as a starting quarterback in the room by a mile. The other two are intimately more familiar with the offense than Joey Aguilar is coming in. I mean, obviously he'll have playbook ahead of his arrival today and things like that, but there's still going to be a learning curve as you transition from the language standpoint, from how they go about their snap counts, how they go about their cadence, just how they go about orchestrating the offense, where the other two have been doing this now for a period of time. I don't know which matters more in that particular situation. I would probably err on the side of starting quarterback experience mattering more in this particular situation, but I don't know. If you're a coach, it's about who can you trust more to do what the offense calls for, especially in this kind of situation where, to your point, there's so many unknowns about how this team is actually going to be able to function.
Yeah, and that's up to Joey Aguilar. Remember, this isn't just Aguilar coming over from a different system and getting thrown into the fire. This is Aguilar learning his third offense in the span of, 6-7 months? Going from App State to UCLA, spending an entire spring practice at UCLA with the new offensive coordinator and first-time play caller, Tino Sinceri, who comes over from Indiana. Aguilar is the presumed starter. He is playing for UCLA for $1.2 million in NIL. He is the guy. Then the Nico stuff comes down, and now he's at Tennessee. So App State, UCLA, Tennessee in quick succession, 3 totally different offenses in a quick period of time. That's not an easy thing. So it'll also be a lot about how he adapts. But best case scenario for Tennessee has to be the most experienced quarterback on the roster, comes in, learns the offense, kind of grabs the reins of the starting job, and you feel good about what you have waiting in the wings for next year with a quarterback competition that will likely involve the 5-star Faison Brandon and George McIntyre and Jake Merklinger. So it could all end up working out the way Tennessee kind of had it planned out. The path was supposed to be another year of Nico. He's likely off to the NFL, and then a QB battle of Merklinger, McIntyre, Brandon. After Nico and all that stuff happened, suddenly it was, okay, this might have to be sped up a little bit. I think best case for Tennessee is that Aguilar just steps in. Maybe your ceiling is a little bit lower, but he is able to take the reins of that job and keep Merklinger and McIntyre on the developmental path that they were already on in terms of the timeline.
615-737-1045, the number if you want to jump in. So how am I supposed to tease this next topic, given what Robert wrote in the rundown today? What do you have to say for yourself? Do you want to tease this?
I don't think it's anything that I said. It's what NSC said on Twitter.
All right, so the soccer team is talking
I thought
smack.
that was a good enough tease. You didn't have to do anything else. That was a good enough tease right there.
It wasn't very good.
I thought it was good.
He's lying to you. Lucas is here to defend his soccer team because apparently they've got a loudmouth on social media. We're going to talk about it next.
It is 11:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans held rookie minicamp over the weekend with the 2025 draft class and UDFAs on the practice field for the first time. Quarterback Cam Ward met with the media after practice and was asked what kind of impression he wants to make on his new teammates.
I was just talking about business. I really want to be a pro. I want to be one of the great ones, and I just want to be a good teammate at the end of the day. I want to win a lot of football games in my career, and I'm excited to be around good vets like Ridley, good guys up front like Lloyd and JC and those guys. So I'm excited, and I'm ready to get to work with them come next week.
The 2025 NFL regular season will open in the NFC East on September 4th. The defending Super Bowl champion Eagles will host the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. The total NFL schedule will be released this Wednesday. In other NFL news over the weekend, Saints quarterback Derek Carr is retiring from the NFL at the age of 34. He announced his status for 2025 was in doubt as he recovers from a shoulder injury. The four-time Pro Bowler played 11 seasons for the Raiders and the Saints. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Welcome back to the show. We've got Titans rookie minicamp to dive into. We're also going to take a quick turn around the NFL to see what else we can learn from rookie minicamps happening elsewhere in the league. But for some reason, the two of them have decided that they are going to derail the show to start the second hour with soccer talk. What have you brought to the table? Explain yourself.
It's not even soccer talk as much as it is smack talk. I get on Twitter and I see NSC is lambasting Charlotte FC.
Okay. Is this a club that you have a particular affinity for?
I think we're hearing some
ACC truth or
bitterness from a North Carolina native.
In fact, I'm going to make Lucas feel awkward because I think the guy that calls the games for Charlotte FC is terrible. And so I do not have an affinity for this team at all. I just love some good smack talk. I love some good rubbing. Your dog pees in the floor, you rub his nose in it. Don't do that again. I love some good rub your nose in it. So I needed to know the backstory of why Charlotte is getting dunked on. Tomahawk, windmill, 360 backflip over a car with Dwight Howard dunked on.
Yeah, because all I see from the Nashville SC Twitter account is "Don't come at the Crown,"
and then a video.
And you're going to miss. And the video is just a bunch of tweets saying, cook those frauds, this, that, and the other. What is the Crown reference?
Well, the Crown is, so that's Charlotte, their
Queen
nickname.
City.
Yeah, Charlotte is the Queen City.
Yeah.
So the soccer team, their nickname is the Crown. That's part of,
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of a play on those words. Nashville is referencing something they posted earlier. Long story short, there's not any great backstory here. Nashville went to Charlotte about a month ago, went up a goal, and then ended up losing 2-1. On Saturday, Charlotte goes up a goal. Nashville comes back and wins 2-1, avenging that loss. Hani Mukhtar, Jacob Schaffelberg score. They're up to fifth in the table. And it's just Nashville SC social media team talking that talk, which I have no problem with.
Are they good enough to be chirpy like this?
I think absolutely. This team is just slowly climbing right now to the point where on Wednesday they're going to host New York Red Bulls. If Inter Miami goes all the way to the West Coast and drops points against San Jose, who's a really explosive team right now, and Nashville wins at home Wednesday, Nashville's a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. So, yes, they've got a lot of momentum. They're scoring a lot of goals, and they're playing really well. 4 straight home wins in all competitions. But Charlotte star Wilfred Zaha, former Premier League star, a week ago, he kind of went the George Pickens route where he just basically like a black screen on his Instagram story with a bunch of different captions responding to fan criticism, where he just goes...
Oh, the Jeff Simmons move?
A little bit, but it's just like a black screen with a bunch of words, where he said after their loss to New England a couple weeks ago, typical, we lost a game and somehow it's Zaha's fault. I dribble, I'm selfish. I keep it simple, I'm not doing what I'm being paid to do. I shoot, I should have passed. Just a whole thing about responding to that criticism.
I feel that.
And Nashville, did its own Instagram story thing where it went line by line, says, we won a game against Charlotte. We shoot, we score. We shoot, we score again. And they just copy and pasted Zaha's post, but dunking on Charlotte for winning. Just some good old-fashioned social media smack
That's
talk.
the good stuff, man.
Yeah, no, I know.
Zaha's in a bathtub of his own tears right now.
I mean, you should have seen, Taylor's pointing it out on the F&M Bank chat, you should have seen Nashville SC after the 7-goal performance against Chicago. Nashville SC social media team doing some good work this year, talking that talk.
I wish Nate Bain was still running the Titans Twitter account because it kind of sucks now. Like, they used to be good at social media, and respectfully to whoever's doing it is significantly worse than Nate was. So maybe Nashville SC has the most entertaining Twitter account. The Preds has always been cringy, super cringy.
They do a great job. Hayden Smith and his content team over there absolutely crush it. So
the soccer team?
Yeah, I think they do a fantastic job. And they've got reasons to talk that talk.
Where did you get that paper to read off of?
Pullover. Relax over there. I think they do a great job. They're the best in the world. They're so funny. Ha, ha, ha. Did you see their jokes? Jesus.
I have enjoyed the schedule release from the Titans the last 2 years. Hopefully they can expand.
Nate won an Emmy for that, and then walked off and said, "I'll go be your chief celebrity wrangler to get people to show up to your games that nobody else wants to be at this point in time." And now their Twitter account sucks.
You know, sometimes when you get so important, you have to accept jobs outside of your own purview to make the entire organization better, something I really recognize within Nate, something that we share a kinship in, you know? We're just making both of our places better.
Yeah. Speaking of behavior on social media, why is George Pickens lying to people? Is AI the new I was hacked?
So what is this that he is? What's he blaming AI for?
He got on Instagram and was responding in the comments to, or at least allegedly responding to the comments. He is saying that it was not him. But I can't read it because he drops an N-word in there.
No, I got you. They're the cheapest organization. Ain't no stacking year after year. They are going to let them go too as soon as it's time, LMAO. I just skipped over it.
Read it again because I talked over you.
Oh.
Because I was terrified of what you might do.
The way he came in, no, I got it. he
said, everybody stand back, I got this.
Hey, everybody, hold my beer. They the cheapest organization. Ain't no stacking year after year. They're going to let them go, too, as soon as it's time. LMAO, crying face, crying face.
Yeah, so he's basically on the internet calling the Steelers cheap. And then his defense was, it's AI. It wasn't me.
I got that one, too. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh.
It's a picture of him on a plane in an aisle seat. Terrible decision. Literally on a plane. No service. Just landed. Not going to lie. Seen straight lies from Pitt fans. Stop with the AI trying to make a story. I'm happy for everything the Steel City did for me. Happy Mother's Day to all. The mothers out there, Blue Heart, GP.
Okay, does he know that every airplane for basically the last 15 years has had Wi-Fi?
I am a huge proponent of this.
Of him lying?
Blaming AI.
Can you give me the reckless speculation sounder before I call George Pickens a liar without any actual facts other than I think he's lying? Yeah, I think he's lying. I think he's lying. I think that the using AI, it was AI, which would be a convenient excuse for any of us if we got canceled or did something inappropriate on social media. It wasn't me.
Robert,
I didn't do anything.
Was that you eating half of my burrito that I had in the break room fridge that I was saving for lunch? I saw you eating it. That was AI.
That wasn't me.
That was artificial intelligence.
No, it was
I like this.
But I
never
saw
do
you.
something like
you
that.
have sour cream on your face, or at least that's what I hope it is.
No, that's hair gel.
That's AI.
Ever seen something about Mary or whatever movie that's from? It wasn't hair gel.
All right, so that. I had to explain to Blaine why we use that. He's like, I think he thought I was making fun of it initially. I was like, no, it's delightful.
No, it saves us.
It's the best thing in the world. It is literally our failsafe here. 615-737-1045. So the soccer team good again.
Yeah, they're fun, man. They are. BJ Callahan has took over midway through last season, and they're fully playing, not fully, I don't think he would say, but he has implemented his style from top to bottom, and they're playing really, really well right now. A lot of momentum. Fun to watch.
Well, we will see. That's him doing his sales pitch and also telling you how good their social media department is as well. But you should check out what's going on with Nashville SC.
We got to go out there as a show, do a show outing.
Listen, they're the only good professional team it seems we have. Like, did you see what CBS, this is a good oh no, did you see what CBS Sports did on social media about 2 hours ago?
Mm-mm.
What is the opponent of the Savannah Bananas?
The party animals, isn't it?
Yes,
the
party animals. Those are the Washington governors or Washington generals, yes.
So apparently, I guess they let the party animals win in ways that they don't let the Washington Generals win for the Globetrotters.
Oh, so it's fake.
Yes. Okay, don't get all.
Oh, so it's all come on, y'all.
Lose your mind talking about wrestling, and then as soon as somebody does a backflip at a baseball game, you start pearl clutching. Shut up.
They have athleticism in wrestling. You know.
What do you think a backflip is?
Anybody
can you do a backflip?
My friend, my drunk friend
Anybody
Andy can do a backflip.
Yeah, and then he snaps his neck because no, he can't. He's just drunk.
Speaking of athleticism,
well, quickly before I move on.
No, this is here though. Javon Curse looks like he could still play football.
Yeah, but that's every time we see him. Of course, he's still jacked and freakish because he is literally the freak. So yes,
he'd be the most athletic person on that baseball field.
That's probably
a bunch of fakers.
Okay, shut up. CBS Sports. The party animals won, apparently. Savannah Bananas did not win at Nissan Stadium on Saturday night. I did not know this. So CBS Sports just decided to take a shot at the Titans and say the number of wins that each franchise has had at Nissan Stadium in the last 15 months, Party Animals 1 win, Tennessee Titans 1 win. Tough scene.
The horse is dead. It's been dead.
Yeah, because they're dead. All right. Rookie minicamp. It happened. You got a new quarterback. That's exciting. We'll talk a little bit about the Titans, but also take a tour around the league of all the news that came out of NFL rookie minicamps. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
It's time for rookie minicamp updates from around the league with Lucas Panzica.
Why is that just not NFL headlines?
Why do you ruin everything?
Just everything.
You ruin everything. It was so nice when you were gone.
So all eyes are obviously on the Cleveland Browns quarterback room.
Makes me
and
so happy.
I would argue it's probably the most interesting rookie minicamp in the NFL, right? With what they did drafting Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And unsurprisingly, Kevin Stefanski is fielding questions about who is taking what rep when, as Sanders and Gabriel split practice reps on the first day of rookie minicamp. Gabriel took the first handful of snaps in team drills. Kevin Stefanski has downplayed the practice order, but it's already started, right? The Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, what is that pecking order going to look like? This was Dylan Gabriel when talking about the quarterback room. We've heard so much about Shedeur Sanders and from Shedeur Sanders. So why don't we hear from Dylan Gabriel in all of this?
Yeah, I love it. I love it because of who it is. I think just for us both, you can learn from one another. But also, it's not just us two in the room. At least for right now it is. But, going into the year, Kenny, Joe, and even Deshaun, just a bunch of guys who played a bunch of ball that we can all learn from one another.
He sounds a little different to me than I expected him to sound. Kind of expected him to sound like this, like way underneath the microphone. Did that joke land, or did you guys did that sound different?
It was a good visual bit too, and you're not on camera when you do that.
You can't even see him. What are you talking about? A good visual bit?
And
Hey,
Bert.
keep it down up there.
Bert showed us, too, before the show, after Dylan Gabriel's media availability following practice, he walks off the mic, and you see Cleveland media just kind of hanging around in the camera shot.
Up too long.
Live stream is up, and one of these Cleveland media members
He's definitely a newspaper guy.
is 100%, is hanging around the microphone, and they turn the audio off on the live stream, and you can see him saying to his fellow media members, clearly,
Multiple
the
times.
lip read, 3 times saying, I'm taller than him. And then he looks at another person and he points to where Gabriel just walked off, goes, I'm taller than him. It looks like he did it on purpose.
Yes.
He walked up to where
He wanted to make a
Gabriel
scene.
was standing. He's like, oh, look at this. I'm taller than the new quarterback.
Well, he walked up there because at those press conferences, we put our mics, our recording devices, at the podium.
But he was just so positioned right where the camera is pointing and turned and made it so abundantly clear what he was saying to multiple different people. It's like the Paulie from The Sopranos. Hey, Tone. Hey,
you hear what I
said?
said?
Tone? I'm taller than the new quarterback.
I actually had the response from Dylan Gabriel, who saw this and was asked about it the next day at practice, if you guys wanted to hear it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's wider than me, too.
Wider.
Wider.
Not whiter.
Yeah, wider.
Okay.
What
You were a little far away from you were far away from the microphone. So I just
it
wanted
was
to
Dylan
clarify.
Gabriel saying it. So.
Okay, Dylan Gabriel.
So
Thank you. I'm glad that we got Dylan Gabriel's thoughts on
The Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders discourse has gone about exactly as we expect.
Yeah, it's about as important, though, as the conversation that we just had about him being too short. It is the ineptitude of an organization that I do not understand. Cleveland Browns fans are some of the most fascinating people in the world to me because you fansplain to me a lot, right? Because I don't have a conventional fandom the way that most people do. But Browns fans still loving that team after it just continues to let them down and disappoint them and make bad decisions at almost every turn is one of the most respectable things that I've ever seen. It's also one of the most insane. How miserable must your life be to be a Browns fan? Because think about this. Their offseason, Bert, I don't know if you would agree with this, but, I'm largely fine with their offseason. And even the logic behind the quarterback situation with Shedeur in the 5th after Gabriel in the 3rd, I guess you could justify it as, well, the value's just too good. And if we've got, if they both turn out to be players, then potentially we can recoup some draft capital for them and maybe get more than a 5th because it's a quarterback or whatever the case may be. But I look at that quarterback room and I feel so bad for poor Kevin Stefanski because he's a good coach. And yet at every turn, this organization is making him or putting him in bad situations like the Deshaun thing last year. How many times did he have to get up at the podium while Watson was still playing and answer questions about why are you still starting this guy? And almost like he has Jimmy Haslam has a knife in his back saying, I paid him this money. You let them know that he's our quarterback until he's not. And only until the Achilles blows out are they finally able to get out from under the anchor that is Deshaun Watson. And they're just holding Stefanski hostage at these press conferences because he's taking the bullets and arrows for an organization that is full of idiocy.
He already looks over it. I mean, already having to answer questions about Dylan Gabriel taking reps before Shedeur Sanders. And imagine if it was vice versa, right? Like, he'd be having to answer those questions no matter what. Somebody's got to take the first reps. They're splitting the reps in rookie minicamp. It's not like there's the ones and the twos. It's just the rookies out there. But so poor Kevin Stefanski's having to explain to media, like, guys, I don't know. Like, it doesn't matter. Somebody's got to take the reps first. Doesn't matter who does. I'm going to be having to answer the questions about it. Just put the third-round pick taking reps first after the fifth round or before the fifth-round pick. In any other situation, nobody would bat an eye. So I do kind of feel for Stefanski in this.
But they're fair questions because the organization did something stupid that is questionable. And so questions are being asked. Unfortunately, the person who has to speak to us vultures the most often are the head coaches. So they're getting out there and having to answer for dumb things that other people have done. And yeah, they make mistakes of their own. I'm not saying that Kevin Stefanski is a perfect coach and that the Browns would be in the Super Bowl if he was at a better organization or something like that. But, like, imagine a world where Kevin Stefanski gets fired this year. He and Myles Garrett are like the two things that organization has done right in the last couple of years. And they're going to be a bad football team. They're in arguably, maybe it's not the best division in football anymore, but because the NFC North exists and that's a juggernaut, but it's one of the best divisions in football. Like, if the Browns finish in fourth place or finish with a losing record, they come away with like maybe an improvement of what they won 3 games this year. Mm-hmm. They win 5 games in 2025. Is he keeping his job?
You would have to think the Browns would be smart enough to know that most of this was circumstantial and self-inflicted.
Yes, a logical person would have to think that the Browns would be aware of that, and then they do dumb bleep.
And then to also be like, hey, you have 2 potential top 10 picks in the 2026 draft. To get rid of him, to bring another coach in, to have to reinstall a new offense and defense, get all the players to buy in, like that would just be, even if the Browns didn't win a game this year, I think it would be dumb if they fired Kevin Stefanski.
That would be the funniest outcome of all of this, is the Browns bottom out and end up just drafting the number 1 quarterback in next year's draft.
Oh, my God. Mel Kiper.
End up with the number 1 overall pick. Everybody out the door. We're starting over. My goodness. So, obviously, they're going to be one of the most watched teams in the preseason. How are they splitting up the reps among the million different quarterbacks? And like we were talking about it Friday, it's not insane to have 4 quarterbacks on your roster in training camp, right? Like the Titans are going to have 4 quarterbacks. But nobody's going to be asking how many reps is Tim Boyle going to get in this preseason game. All 4 of these guys, all eyes are on all of them. How many reps is Kenny Pickett going to get? Is Joe Flacco going to play at all in the preseason? If he doesn't, does that mean he's the presumed starter? Okay, how do you handle Gabriel and Sanders? So Kevin Stefanski is, he's
Bless
just
you,
getting.
Kevin. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for what they've done to you.
This is just the warm up too. Like, this is one day of rookie minicamp.
No, I know it's already exhausting.
So we are seeing some fully guaranteed rookie contracts starting to come down. The Houston Texans, well, before that, real quick, James Pierce Jr. has signed his deal with Atlanta, a 4-year, fully guaranteed rookie deal worth $16.8 million. He'll get an $8.8 million signing bonus. So both Atlanta first-round picks are officially in the books. That was from Rap Sheet earlier today. This was late last week. The Texans signed second-round wide receiver Jaden Higgins to a fully guaranteed 4-year, $11.7 million contract. He is the first second-round pick in NFL history to sign a fully guaranteed deal.
Is there any additional logic or reason or reporting on why that was the case? Have the Texans been asked about that specifically? It's obviously not something I've heard of. This is the first it's ever happened.
DJ Bienemy, is it Bien? Did I say that right? Bienemy,
you don't say anything right.
ESPN Texans reporter. No, you don't say anything right. So I said this right, correct?
Bienemy, yes.
Okay. I don't feel like I can't trust you on that.
Go ahead and read.
He says this shows how much the Texans believe in Jaden Higgins, whom they selected with the number 34 pick. He finished with over 1,100 receiving yards, 10 touchdowns last year. And then there's just a quote in here from D'Amico Ryans about what they like about Jaden. He's a big target. And obviously, they went after both Iowa State receivers, but all the reporting around it just shows how much they believe in him.
Okay. Is that something that's now going to come up in other second-round pick contract? Is Femi Oladejo going to look around? I don't remember if Femi's already signed his deal or not. I can look that up for you. But, I mean, if I'm Femi and I'm like, well, I want a fully guaranteed deal. Do you not totally believe in me? Do you not totally love me or this, that, and the other? I would be confused if I was another second-round pick around the league and seeing somebody getting a fully guaranteed deal.
You know who does not have a fully guaranteed deal? Shamar Stewart has yet to sign his rookie deal. And he's not doing anything on the football field until he signs
this is unbelievable. His
rookie deal. This is Bengals first-round pick, Shamar Stewart, the linebacker out of Texas A&M.
Participate in minicamp today?
I just decided not to sign those papers.
Do you anticipate signing your contract before Monday to join the team, or you're not sure when that's going to come together?
I would hope so. I mean, I would love to be a part of the team. I'd be on the sideline just looking at everybody else do work.
I was going to say, how tough is that for you?
Yeah, especially on the first day. It was kind of tough on me.
Are you part of the meetings? Are you doing other things as part of this?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing everything else. I'm just like on the field stuff.
So he's not he's not the only Bengals draft pick to do this. Their second-round pick, Demetrius Knight out of South Carolina, also refusing to partake in on-field work until they get their rookie deal signed.
Yeah, but the way that he just answered those questions is horrendous.
Absolutely. They're the only ones in the NFL. The only rookies in the NFL that are basically holding out of minicamp are the two Bengals picks in the first and second round.
Robert, how did you describe this during our prep this morning when you played us this audio or played me this audio for the first time?
They are playing chicken with the train because
the Bengals don't pay anybody.
Right,
you know who you're dealing with? They had to fight tooth and nail to get Jamar Chase a contract. Trey Hendrickson's still running around out there. Let me like, hey guys, it's report day. What are we doing here?
I'm going to suggest you go ahead and go out there and do those workouts, son, because I've been waiting to get paid, and I've been doing those workouts.
What?
I saw Damian Harris, former Alabama running back, played for the Bills and the Pats, now a CBS analyst. He quoted this with the opinion of, quote, this decision is 100% on Shamar Stewart, but let's be honest, college football is to blame for the audacity that most of these young men have nowadays. Changes have to be made, or this will become the new norm.
That was my first reaction when you guys played it to me. Is like, you know what? It's gonna start happening more. There's going to be more of this because they're negotiating deals in college. Of course they think they have more leverage than they actually do.
Mm-hmm.
They think this is the exact same thing that they just went through, when in reality, the NFL is not going to play these games with you because there is structure here. You don't get to win the way that you did in college football here. You're also not the best player on the football team. In fact, everybody is basically as good as you are or better than you are at their respective jobs because these are the best football players in the world. Are you insane?
Also, we're talking about Shamar Stewart, who a lot of people thought the Bengals overdrafted in the first round.
Yes.
Who is a project.
He would have been a second round
defensive
pick in a worse or in a better draft. He would have been a second round pick, and I truly believe
was
that.
Not really a pass rusher at Texas A&M. That's what he's
some deployment stuff that people cite,
but that's what he's going to be asked to do in Cincinnati. Like, he's got a lot of work to do. So, a terrible first impression here. Players are coming out of high school without playing a snap in college football and are being told, hey, the market is the market. This is what the market says you're worth, despite the fact that they haven't done anything in college football, right? So it's not shocking that some of that mentality could carry over into the NFL. Like, you haven't done anything yet. Like, nobody else is doing this.
By the way, those reporters, that is, not the second, I very rarely secondhand criticize questions asking, but like, why would they not bring that up? What have you done to think that you deserve the right to sit out of your first day of rookie minicamp? Who the hell are you? I would have a meltdown, I feel like.
Okay, but how do you balance this then? Because you have very much always been on the side of, for the college players.
Yeah.
Like, you're going, you've been all the way on that side of it. No, hell yeah, no, who cares? Get your money. That's what the market says, get your money. So why now with Shamar Stewart saying, who the hell are you? You haven't done anything.
Because you can in college because they haven't put the guardrails on. In the NFL, the structure exists. The rules exist. I have no issue with college football players trying to take advantage of the marketplace that the NCAA has allowed to exist there, which is just craziness. So in that meantime, go out there and get your money. Even if you are entitled, even if it's probably the wrong decision. I was pro Nico, even though I thought he handled it terribly. But I get it from a conceptual standpoint, you don't pull that bleep in the NFL. They have specifically designed it so you can't.
In college, you're trying to prepare yourself to go to the NFL, right?
Yes.
So, like, I don't think so. For me, it doesn't sit right with me saying, "Oh, hell no, go all in, get the money." Who cares? It's the market. Who cares what program you're screwing over your teammates? Get your money while you can.
No, I get it.
And then
it's
as
not
soon as they get to the NFL,
ethically type of situation.
No, I know. But then as soon as you get to the NFL, it's like, "Oh no, you can't do that. Oh, you can't do that here, right?" Like, at some point, there has to be some crossover. I know you can't. So, which is why it doesn't sit right with me to be like, "Oh yeah, do your thing there in college, kid." But as soon as they get to the NFL, they're like, "Oh, wait, what is this? Like, what is this?" Like, somebody's got to prepare these kids for what they're trying to go do.
Oh, no, and they're going to be caught. You are 100% right about that. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. But I think, from my standpoint, just like Nico is going to serve as a cautionary tale for somebody out there, hopefully many people out there, Shamar Stewart and other people like that, who are coming to the NFL level and who NFL teams are going to put up with this bleep about, there are going to have to be cautionary tales everywhere. People are going to have to be made examples of. And you just hope that they try to protect themselves, or they have smart enough people around them to protect them from making these critical mistakes as 22 and 23 and 24-year-old children, essentially, even though they're technically adults.
Speaking of the Bengals not paying folks, we have a new statement from Trey Hendrickson. But first, I want to remind you that this Saturday, Beer Fest is happening at Game Terminal, the 4th annual Beer Fest, benefiting the Nashville Humane Association.
You sure it wasn't last week?
It'll be a day filled with beer, cider, and alcohol tastings, games, fun, and excitement. No, please stop confusing the listeners. It is on Saturday. Buy your tickets now. $40 online, $50 at the door. You get alcohol tastings, a gift bag, swag, all included. And again, portion of proceeds going to Nashville Humane Association. Game Terminal is an awesome spot. Has all the arcade games you could possibly want to play. A great 8,000 square foot back patio. We'll be there having a great time. Go to 1045thezone.com to purchase tickets this Saturday afternoon.
Quickly, before you move on, some important context from somebody that would know these things that was just provided to me. I'm just reading directly from a text. Generally, teams and players sign a good faith letter to ensure the pick gets his money, even if the final contract hasn't been agreed to, if something were to happen in rookie minicamp. So
yeah, they're protected.
This person is essentially guessing that maybe the Bengals either don't do that specifically or are missing some language in the letter that protects the player that the representation is trying to make sure that is in there.
No, that is that is available to all rookies in the NFL, right? Like that is,
I don't know,
a standard injury waiver for rookies in the NFL. Like, you are protected in rookie minicamp, even if you're out there before your rookie deal gets signed.
What I'm saying is, I don't know if there's a differentiation between an injury situation and this good faith letter that says, no, you're going to get your money. We just need to get you there first.
Yeah.
Like, we just need to work through these hurdles first. So I think that's, important.
Because when he said, I just decided not to sign those papers, I think that's what he's talking about, that waiver that is available to all rookies. That tells you, like, you are protected.
We don't have all of the information here, I would say, but there's something like, it's more to me about how he's answering the question.
Yeah, for sure. It's a terrible look. Terrible.
That was my favorite part.
So, as Robert said, he's playing chicken with a train. The Cincinnati Bengals, despite the fact that they have paid Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, notoriously shy away from paying big money to their stars. This has been quite a change of pace for them. One of their stars, Trey Hendrickson, who's had 17 and a half sacks each of the last 2 seasons, is also waiting for that big deal. And
this just came out.
It's been crickets, right? Really, he spoke a lot in the lead up to the Super Bowl on Radio Row in New Orleans, and it's been crickets since then. He provided a statement to ESPN, Adam Schefter sharing this, quote, "No communication has taken place between my camp and the organization post-draft. The offers prior to the draft did not reflect the vision we shared and were promised last offseason if I continued to play at a high level. Coaches are aware of these past conversations. Rather than using collaboration to get us to a point to bring me home to the team, they, in all caps, are no longer communicating. I have been eagerly awaiting a resolution of this situation, but that's hard to do when there is no discussion and an evident lack of interest in reaching mutual goals."
Do you remember what their executive vice president, Katie Blackburn, said about this at owners' meetings?
Yeah, I mean, it was essentially
the paraphrase is maybe he should be happier with the money that we're offering him.
Yes, basically is what she said.
Which is
she's like, it's up to him to be happy with
what.
If he's not happy, that's up to him.
Position to take publicly. Crazy.
It's also funny. I don't know if you guys saw this. It kind of got swept in the headlines a couple weeks ago. They asked their starting safety, Geno Stone, to take a pay cut following the draft, or he would be cut. They knocked his salary this upcoming season from $6.5 to $4.19. They're like, yeah, take $1.6 million as a pay cut. And you would think, oh, maybe we're going to use this money to sign Trey. We're going to use this money to bolster up the defense. He was told, quote, they did not tell me where the money would be going. So they asked him to take
What if they just to get some money back, just to see if he'd say yes?
$1.6 million from your starting safety is like, hey, you either take this pay cut or we're cutting you. Like, that's the type of goodwill that they're building with their players over there in Cincinnati.
I heard the Titans could use an edge rusher.
I was just going to say, can I have a Trey Hendrickson?
I mean,
it would be.
He's 30 years old. He's
infinitely better than anything else they've got on the roster right now.
Super thick neck.
Very thick neck.
Does he? Is that an important qualification for a pass rusher?
I think so.
1 year left on his deal in Cincy. Cap hit of over $18 million.
Yeah, so you're paying him.
You're paying him top of market money.
Somebody is going to, but he's not going to make more money than Myles Garrett. What's Max Crosby's deal before Myles Garrett? Or I guess, Max Crosby got paid before Myles Garrett.
Yeah, he was the highest paid before Myles Garrett became the highest paid. The deal that he signed was 3 years, $106.5 million.
I would be okay with that. This team has money.
Dixie on the F&M Bank chat is alleging that Big Jeff followed Trey Hendrickson on Instagram recently.
God,
I don't know if that's the truth.
They were probably both at the same sport fishing thing this weekend. I don't know. I don't want to get into that.
But like the Myles Garrett thing, I kind of was like, no, that's not in the cards for the Titans. But the Trey Hendrickson thing, interesting.
Speaking of interesting, been an interesting news cycle in New Orleans. Quarterback dominoes, potentially this does not change too much about the quarterback dominoes, but does it open the door for New Orleans to be considering other veteran quarterback options? Derek Carr officially announced his retirement. We're going to talk about the weirdness of that situation coming up next. Robert, if I hear that promo again, it's going to make me
Titans football on the zone.
Make it stop. That's awful. What's not awful is the Tennessee Men's Clinic. They are there to help you throughout the course of the process. If you feel like you're struggling as of late, if you feel like your energy is down, if you're just generally not feeling like you used to, those things don't have to be inevitable. You don't have to just chalk it up to the aging process. You can get help from the Tennessee Men's Clinic because there is no guesswork and no gimmicks, just real science and effective treatments. A lot of dudes go online, they get generic pills that are overpriced and largely ineffective. The Tennessee Men's Clinic will provide you with a personalized treatment plan with multiple urologists and providers that tailor solutions specifically to your body and your goals. It's affordable and accessible. You'll get your consultation. It includes blood work, and your results will be with you before you leave. So stop procrastinating and make sure you get the help that you need. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or visit them online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com today. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Derek Carr retired over the weekend on Saturday. In particular, the quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. A lot of people, and we certainly talked about this here locally, had posed the idea of potentially trying to acquire Derek Carr as a bridge quarterback instead of drafting a quarterback in a class that felt, at the time, not up to par. Fortunately for Titans fans, dodged a bullet there, and Cam Ward, we'll see what he becomes, but he's not a medically retiring 34-year-old quarterback coming off a hand injury and now a shoulder injury that was going to require surgery and could have potentially cost him all of 2025. So on Saturday, Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints, or I guess the New Orleans Saints announce on behalf of Derek Carr that he is retiring, and then both put out their own statements. Did you read how long that tweet was that the Saints put out, detailing all the different things? Because all of this has been a total mess. And I don't...
Well, thing is, it needed to be because this thing
clarified.
Yes, like this thing has been so nebulous and weird. We played the audio of Derek Carr preaching at a mega church in Vegas, taking shots at ESPN and Diana Rossini for saying he didn't actually have a shoulder injury.
Some lady with a podcast.
Yeah, so
shut up.
It's just been weird. It's just been weird from start to finish. And I imagine Saints fans are just happy to move on. I know Michael Thomas is. He went on a tirade of tweets against Derek Carr.
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't he kind of like that on Twitter?
Kind of, yeah. I don't think it's the first time he's done that, but we don't need to read the tweets. Basically, he just called Derek Carr bad at football in so many words.
Saints fans, it did seem like a bit of at least what I saw, a lot of people were celebrating the idea that Derek Carr was not going to be a part of their football team.
I think our show resident Saints fan, my buddy Jay, diehard Saints fan, elated on cloud 9 that the Derek Carr era is over in New Orleans.
So this is the statement, and we only talk about this locally because quarterback carousel type of stuff. Does this open the door for Aaron Rodgers in New Orleans potentially? Are they just, Tyler Shuck?
Rookie of the Year odds, plus 1,200 for Tyler Shuck.
Isn't Ashton Genty the favorite?
Yeah, we talked about it Friday, what Cam Ward's path to winning Rookie of the Year would look like, what his odds are.
It's crazy to me that they're just, that he's not the preseason favorite.
Genty plus 280, Ward
there's not a huge difference.
Plus 380.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter plus 850. Then you get to Ted McMillan, then Tyler Shuck.
Anyway, so this is the statement from the Saints account. Derek Carr has announced his retirement in late March while ramping up his preparation for the 2025 season. Derek experienced pain in his right shoulder. It was his first time throwing a football at significant volume since recovering from both a concussion and a left hand injury sustained during play on December 8th, 2024. Derek immediately contacted the Saints medical team. So that alone needed an explanation because everybody's looking around in late March wondering why the hell the Saints are just now finding out that their quarterback might need surgery. Fortunately for them, it was before the draft, and Derek Carr retires after the draft, which I think, is questionable. Maybe it doesn't change a whole lot, but I didn't love that part. They go on to say, eventually medical scans determined objectively that Derek sustained a labral tear and also had significant degenerative changes to his rotator cuff. That sounds awful. Since that time, Derek, his representation of the Saints medical team, and outside medical experts have worked together to determine the best path forward. Surgery was an option, jeopardizing the entire 2025 season, yet there was no guarantee Derek would return to the level of strength, function, and performance of play to which he was accustomed. So he decides to retire. Him and his wife apparently talk about it. They decide it's in their best interest to move on. And now, the Saints probably have the worst quarterback room in football.
Oh.
Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, and Jake Haener.
Yeah. For sure. For sure the worst / most
would you even
unproven.
Put up second? Because you made that sound like it was a conversation.
I just didn't want to say, because I feel like we do that all the time without thinking, and then it's always like, oh, wait, oh, no, this exists.
No, you do that. That's a you thing.
Yeah, so you do that a lot, so I just wanted to make sure we avoided that.
I'd say Cleveland. I'd put Cleveland beside them. You got one guy who's not going to play. Joe Flacco being the veteran edges it out, but, they have 3 unrealized talents. Kenny Pickett being the best, and then the Saints also have 3 unrealized talents.
Yeah, but you've seen Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco play football. They have started games in the NFL.
I also think the Colts quarterback room might just be awful. It might just be absolutely. If Daniel Jones
has the most potential to be the worst, right?
If Jones is not the newest reclamation project in the NFL, then the Colts might have the worst quarterback room in the NFL, assuming Anthony Richardson continues to be Anthony Richardson.
Steelers, Mason Rudolph, and...
Oh, no. Oh, you're actually, no. That's it. Right now, it's the Steelers.
No, Mason Rudolph is better than those three. Stop it. He was on the worst team in football last year. Mason Rudolph has been a competent NFL quarterback.
Right, which is what blows my mind about, like, you making the argument last week that Mason Rudolph, like, that Kirk Cousins isn't that much better of a solution than Rudolph. Like, you watched Rudolph last year. It's just, like, what is, like, am I taking crazy pills? Like, you covered games where Mason Rudolph played quarterback.
Yes.
And yet you were willing to say that Kirk Cousins isn't that much better.
Yeah, because he's old and broken.
Like,
that's not an
help me out
insane
here.
thing.
Am I taking crazy pills? Like, did we not watch Mason Rudolph play football last year?
Yes, old, broken, immobile Kirk Cousins is not appreciably better. It's not a game-changing thing to me to add Kirk Cousins to your quarterback room.
I mean, 1 year removed from Kirk Cousins setting the single-game passing record for the Falcons, and Mason Rudolph, I would argue, never passing for over 300 in a game for the Titans.
Ooh, I think he might have gotten close in that Lions game because it was just an ass.
You're right.
Yeah,
maybe
but
that one.
Point stands.
I get what I get what both of you are saying, but there's not that big of a difference. We have already had this dumb discussion.
Yeah, we don't have to. I would argue that Mason Rudolph with the Steelers, I'd rather have. Okay, better or worse, it's hard to say because we don't know what Tyler Shuck is. Which room would you rather have? The Saints room. I would rather have the Saints quarterback room with the upside of a second-round pick than Mason Rudolph and nobody else, with respect to Mason Rudolph.
And also 2 other quarterbacks on rookie deals. Like, they might suck now, but, Spencer Rattler may have a good camp. Jake Hayner may stop being handsome and start being good at football. You never know.
He is very handsome, or at least he photographs well. 615-7. Rodgers to New Orleans? How pissed would Pittsburgh be?
Can you imagine them hostage for an entire offseason just to go to the Saints? That would be hilarious.
Yeah, would it be Will Howard's season then? Would Steelers fans turn?
Oh, that's right. They have Will Howard.
Yeah, they drafted him.
Will Howard was a 5th-round pick?
4th or 5th.
Yeah,
something like that.
Day 3.
Woof. That's tough, man.
Ooh.
Mason Rudolph or Will Howard?
Skylar Thompson running around there, I think, too.
That's tough.
There's some bad quarterback rooms. Who wants Will Levis? Anybody? Anybody at all? Everybody's still saying, no, I think I'm all right on that. Talk to me after training camp. Poor guy. All right. Coming up next, we have the official announcement of the NFL's 2025 season opener. We will get the schedule in full on Wednesday. But I have some thoughts on this Cowboys-Eagles game, and we're going to talk about it before we get to Xavier Restrepo and Cam Ward coming up next.
Hey guys, it's Lucas to tell you about Fog Street Lawn Club, Nashville's premier soccer pub, your go-to spot to watch Nashville SC games. It's also open early for Premier League action, even those 6 a.m. kickoffs on weekends. Enjoy an awesome brunch with the sunrise going over the Nashville skyline on the best rooftop view in Music City. Go see it for yourself. But no matter the sport, Fog Street Lawn Club makes sure you won't miss a moment. Tons of space downstairs, multiple bars, tables, TVs everywhere if you want to go check out some NHL or NBA playoff action. You can play British-style lawn bowling or cornhole on the rooftop for free. Head next door. Challenge your friends to some axe throwing at Bad Axe. Fog Street Lawn Club gives you the experience of downtown Music City with a perfect escape from the hustle and bustle. Family-friendly, great for all sports fans. You can even host special events, and they have an excellent menu of British pub-style food and a large drink selection. Check out Happy Hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6 p.m., and I will see you at Fog Street Lawn Club located on Fog Street. It is 12 o'clock. Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans held rookie minicamp over the weekend with the 2025 draft class and UDFAs on the practice field for the first time. Veterans reporting today at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. The 2025 NFL regular season will open in the NFC East on September 4th. The defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles host the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. The complete NFL schedule will be released this Wednesday. In other NFL news over the weekend, Saints quarterback Derek Carr is retiring at the age of 34. His status for 2025 was up in the air as he recovers from a shoulder injury. The four-time Pro Bowl quarterback played 11 seasons for the Raiders and the Saints combined. NBA playoff action, the Knicks and Celtics play Game 4, Eastern Conference semifinals tonight at MSG. The Knicks lead the series 2-1. Tip-off at 6:30. In the West, the Warriors host the T-Wolves at 9 p.m. Minnesota has a 2-1 lead. Stanley Cup playoff action tonight. Game 4 between Hurricanes and Capitals in Carolina at 6. Hurricanes lead at 2-1. And in the West, the Golden Knights try to even the series against the Oilers in Game 4, dropping the puck in Edmonton at 8:30. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
We will have the full NFL schedule release for all 32 teams by the time we get to Wednesday night. But in the meantime, the NFL likes to slow play these things. They like to tease. It's a little foreplay, a little schedule foreplay ahead of the grand reveal.
Scheduled foreplay? How old are we?
Hey, man, I'm sure at some point these things do have to become a bit more scheduled. I don't know how spontaneous your love life is at this point in time, nor do I care to hear about it.
Well, let's put it this way. I don't look forward to Tuesday nights because you're off of primetime.
Love that for you. Anyway, the schedule release is scheduled for Wednesday night. The NFL has started to announce things like international games and both opponents as opposed. The international games have been announced, or at least the international home teams have been announced. Now they're starting to reveal which teams will travel to play in London and Munich and things like that. And they have also given us the 2025 regular season opener. And it will be football. It will be great. People will enjoy it. We will all lust for it. And we will all be excited to see the NFL, the actual product, not preseason games, back on our television once again. But it is an incredible opportunity that the NFL has missed here. Because the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Dallas Cowboys, who are they are relevant. I understand this. They rate incredibly well for reasons that perplex me. But as far as the product on the field, that is such a bummer of a season-opening opponent for the defending Super Bowl champions when, Robert, you pointed out what was right there for them.
The NFC Championship rematch between the Commanders and the Eagles.
Give me Jaden Daniels. Give me Jaden Daniels and the Commies versus the Philadelphia Eagles. It's just that simple. That's a huge fan base, too. I know Dallas rates better than any of them, again, for reasons that are beyond me. But, of all the options you pick, you just do the most cliche cookie-cutter NFL thing in the world and just give us an Eagles-Cowboys game on a Thursday night just to put the Cowboys on TV again?
Now, I do have a theory as to why they would pick the Cowboys over the Commanders. Dak did not play the Eagles one time last year.
I don't care.
And I wonder if that affected the ratings for them. Even though the Cowboys are ratings juggernauts, if you can guarantee that Dak will play the Philadelphia Eagles, you would essentially have to do that. To guarantee it would have to be week 1. I wonder if that was part of the rationale.
Can you do this? Can you give me the reckless speculation sounder again?
Again? We have a quota on these things. You know, we're only supposed to do this once a day.
I don't think that's true.
That is a Big Boss Bert decree.
And yet he's allowed me to play it 3 different times today. They are doing this for a press release. They are doing this to put out a press release the day after the game to be like, it's the biggest number the NFL's ever opened with ever. Because it's the Cowboys and the Eagles, and the Eagles just won the Super Bowl, and they hate the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are ratings monsters, and their starting quarterback is back. They are doing this for a press release, and I hate it.
But you're surprised by it?
No, not even remotely. But I can not be surprised by it and still be disenchanted by the NFL doing the most predictable thing in the world.
Yeah, I didn't bat an eye on it. That makes sense. Cowboys, week 1.
Yeah, but you're not a little disappointed?
I guess, but like it's 24 hours will pass and a whole weekend of football will be upon us. We'll have the Brazil game on Friday, and I'm not getting worked up.
Talk about which quarterback got hurt on the Brazil field turf this time.
Not going to get worked up over it. Did you show Buck, by the way, what Zach brought you, the gift that he got you?
Oh no,
Zach
Buck
Lyons?
Yes, it was very nice, made of rich mahogany. It was one of those things you sit on your desk, that has like a name title,
a nameplate,
and it says Big Boss Bert. Producer, developer, lover. If I had a desk, I'd put it on.
Why is he still trying to buy people's affections? He's worked here long enough.
It's working.
It was actually really nice.
It was so nice.
Custom made.
Nicer than anything Buck's ever gotten me. Who also declined my Venmo request for having to get...
tell people what you did. Tell people what you did.
Simply...
Because I almost Venmo'd you on accident $100,000.
Simply and humbly, I asked for compensation for while Buck was on vacation. I asked for a little monetary compensation for going over, feeding his cats, watering them, and fixing the litter box. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You literally sent me a Venmo notification for $100,000, and I almost accepted it because you were good to go.
What would your mother have said?
I didn't look.
She was, but the trust fund is empty. What have you done?
Trust fund.
He would be having to work it off. I would have him feeding me grapes and rubbing my feet every night. Oh, you want that money back, don't you?
I don't like that Venmo could let someone do that.
That's what I'm saying.
Six figures. I should have sent 9999999.
I almost hit accept because I was grateful to you because I panicked because the automatic feeder apparently went out while I was in South Carolina. All it had to be done was unplug it and plug it back in, I guess.
I just hit it with a hammer.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Did the cats come out?
No.
You didn't get to interact?
The backyard cats did. The inside cats did not.
The horde that's living back in that alley back there.
I'm going to change your name. You're like Bruce Wayne. You're Catman.
Oh, we also had a very important journalistic discussion Thursday on who would be Batman of our modern-day billionaires.
Modern-day billionaires?
Yeah. And
Batman.
Give him the options.
It was in their prime, Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg. So for Bezos, it would have to be like, I don't know, 30 years ago.
Bezos is like slick jacked now, isn't he?
He is, but I don't know if he was 30 years ago. I feel like that's something that he's been doing in his 50s and 60s. Zuckerberg is... What, in his 30s?
No. Now? Mark Zuckerberg has to be closer to 50 than 30.
All right, guesses.
Wow. I just looked it up. He's exactly 40 years old. He turns 41 on Wednesday.
Okay.
Oh, that's my sister's birthday. Happy birthday to Mark Zuckerberg and the NFL schedule release. So.
This is unnecessary.
But Batman from Dark Knight Rises was probably closer to 40. Remember, he was a recluse. He had his cane. He wasn't doing very well, and then he had to bring back Batman because Bane was about to destroy Gotham. So it would have to be Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, he does mixed martial arts. He does all these crazy water sports.
I guess.
He's just got billions of dollars and nothing but time.
Mark Zuckerberg does not strike me as do-gooder.
I don't know. Maybe
how many
did Bruce Wayne strike you as a do-gooder? He was a billionaire playboy who didn't care about anyone but himself.
Fair.
He did plenty of do-gooding. He didn't kill anyone. He let all those people go free. What do you mean he didn't do any do-gooding?
What people go
No, I know.
free?
I'm saying Bruce Wayne didn't strike the public as this.
No.
He was a philanthropist. What do you mean? He was giving money to people all the time. He was a good guy.
He's also hijacking the entire Russian ballet to go on a cruise with him so that he can hit on ballerinas and stuff like that.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, that was just cover for him to go to Hong Kong to kidnap the accountant that was holding all the mobster money that the Joker stole.
I did not have us on the day that the NFL season opener is announced, relitigating each storyline to all three of the Dark Knight movies.
I just watched them. It's very fresh in my mind. And I have not been able to stop thinking about who would be our Batman.
Is there a game on the Titans schedule? Because we do at least have home and away opponents at this point in time. Is there a matchup, now that we at least know the teams and better ideas of who's going to be playing quarterback, who's going to be rushing the passer through the draft and free agency, that really strikes you out of the matchups that they have? We don't know the dates. We don't know the times. We don't know how they'll be backloaded or front-loaded or otherwise. But I am genuinely curious, like, what Titans fans are looking forward to about this particular schedule release.
Home or away?
I don't think that they're going to go international this year. There was some thought that they might, to avoid potentially having to go back overseas in 2027, which of course would be their next year in the cycle, which would be the year that they open the new stadium.
Jacksonville is playing overseas. Is Cleveland overseas?
Cleveland is overseas.
Okay, so it would probably be Cleveland if the Titans were to go overseas to play a quote-unquote home team that's playing
but I don't think
internationally.
I don't think I'm not reporting anything specifically, but I have not heard anything about international games or them having to go international this year. Next year, I think it's still on the table.
Well, Cleveland immediately pops up just for the slightest outside shot of there being a Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders game. I feel like...
God, that'll be so obnoxious. There will be zero Cam Ward coverage.
Like, if Cleveland had drafted Shedeur Sanders earlier, let's say in an alternate universe, they draft Shedeur Sanders, number 2 overall, I feel like that could be a primetime game. Browns-Titans, the top 2 picks. But
yeah, they'd cram it in
Thursday night.
No, Amazon doesn't even want them anymore. That's why Amazon has taken back control of, or has a greater say in the control for as much money as they're paying now for Thursday Night Football. They don't want the Titans on Thursday Night Football.
Titans host the Saints, who at this point it seems likely will have Tyler Shuck as their starter. I'm just trying to find as many rookie versus rookie QB matchups as possible. Those are the only 2 feasible ones, I would say.
615-737-1045 is the number. If you want to participate, you are welcome to do so. We are going to talk about, so we've talked a little bit about rookie minicamp, and I gave you my observations as a whole, but the Cam Ward, Xavier Restrepo thing is something that warrants much more discussion, and we're going to talk about how potentially important that connection is coming up next. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer, is always doing great things in the community. And in the not-too-distant future, they will be having a free family event this Saturday from 9 to noon to celebrate Police Week. Blue and You is your chance to engage with local law enforcement and first responders. Bring the kids to meet and mingle with the dedicated officers who work around the clock to keep our community safe. You can explore the inside of a police car, check out the tools of the trade, get to know the first responders of the Mount Juliet Police Department. There will be free items for the kids, free Chick-fil-A biscuits while supplies last from Chick-fil-A Providence, plus a chance to win great door prizes like free oil changes, family packs of tickets to the Nashville Zoo. How about that, Bert? And family packs of tickets to Holiday World Splash and Safari. Show your support and celebrate Police Week with Blue and You this Saturday, May 17th from 9 to 11 a.m. at Two Rivers Ford, 76 Belinda Parkway, Mount Juliet. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the greatest hot chicken anywhere in the world, anywhere on the planet, anywhere in the universe. They got anything going on at Hattie B's? I thought about getting it at the airport the other day, but then I didn't want to subject people on my flight afterwards to, the results of hot chicken.
Bad decision by you.
Yeah, No, it was a bad decision by me. But I may just get some grilled tenders for lunch. That sounds delightful. Anything new going on at Hattie B's? Any specials, any announcements, any breakfast situations people need to be aware of?
Well, the Factory at Franklin location has breakfast on weekends. I have a family member that lives outside of the U.S. visiting this weekend, so I can't think of a better Nashville brunch spot to take them than hot chicken on Saturday morning.
Absolutely. So, things that got people hot and bothered this weekend were your Cam Ward thirst trap videos. Now, there are Titans fans, and there are Titans fans complaining, and I don't know how many Titans fans feel this way, but there are Titans fans complaining about the volume of work that other teams are doing around their rookie quarterbacks as far as social media content versus what the Titans are doing with Cam Ward. I don't know if that's a reasonable complaint or if that's just Titans fans angsty because they have a quarterback to be excited about and they're seeing more Jalen Milroe videos than they are Cam Ward videos. Whatever. But we were out there on Saturday. There were 2 days of rookie minicamp on the field. Only one day was open to the media. The biggest observation that I had, and we talked about it in the first hour, but if you weren't listening in the first hour, was that Xavier Restrepo is clearly the training wheels that is going to help Cam Ward be as comfortable as humanly possible right away. New coaching staff, new terminology. They're going to incorporate a lot of elements from the Miami offense into what they're running in Tennessee, which Brian Callahan talked about with me at the Combine, if you'll remember, talking about not prioritizing scheme over talent, but trying to do your best job as a coach to facilitate what the talent does best, which is, of course, how the coach should be operating. So that's exactly what you want to hear from Brian Callahan. Cam Ward, he said, and I want to make sure that I'm paraphrasing correctly here, but he didn't seem to think, or at least he didn't publicly acknowledge, that Xavier Restrepo being here was going to make his life infinitely easier. I guess he was just trying to downplay, I'm gonna have to work hard regardless of who's here, who's not here. I think he was just trying to make it more of a team-centric answer as opposed to hyper-focusing on one individual, even though he was asked a lot of questions about Xavier Restrepo.
Let him do it.
Well, this is a different answer, is
oh, it is?
How I'm getting ready to tee it up.
Okay.
So, Cam Ward, well, actually, I'm not sure how many different questions are in this one answer. Let's hear from Cam Ward on Xavier Restrepo at Titans Rookie Minicamp Saturday.
I was real excited when they signed X. He's somebody who's deserving of it. He's worked hard every day. He's one of the most underrated players that was in the draft this year. So, I think, every time he steps on the field, he remembers everything. And, he's going to continue to prove it, to himself.
Did you push for him a little bit, during the draft process and afterwards as well? Did you hope or were you, trying to nudge people to bring him aboard?
Mm-hmm. I did push for him. Every team that I visited with, I pushed for him. He's one of the best route runners in college football last year. He's first team all conference. He's All-American. He never lost in man coverage. He's back-to-back 1,000-yard receiver, so why wouldn't you push for him?
So that is Cam Ward. So that was not the thing that I was referencing earlier.
Yeah. He was asked if it makes the adjustment any more seamless. He said, no, not really, but it's good to have him.
There's no, he can downplay that if he wants to, Cam, but there was no question to me that he looked and maybe that's just Cam Ward. Maybe he's at ease no matter what situation you drop him into. But it was pretty cool to see the two of them out there together because they clearly have a good relationship. Xavier Restrepo seems to bring a degree of energy to the practice field that maybe they're just all excited to be out there for the second day of rookie minicamp. But football practice is not fun. And Xavier Restrepo was having as much fun as anybody out there because he was having success, I'm sure. But also because he clearly loves football, and he clearly loves having Cam Ward as his quarterback again, where they were excellent. Both of them All-America last year, benefiting from each other's presence. Xavier Restrepo, one of the most productive wide receivers and the most productive wide receiver in a couple of different categories that the University of Miami has ever had, which, again, is insane given the level of talent that has come through that university at that specific position. over the course of its history. But I could not help but notice how much more fluid things ran watching the two of them work together, and how at least that made Xavier Restrepo look like the best rookie wide receiver on the practice field that day, draft pick or not.
I mean, he's probably played the most football out of any of them, right? Now, DK was at Wisconsin and then at Florida. He played a lot of ball at Io Manor, 2 full seasons, incredibly productive at Stanford. But, again, all-time leader in career yards and catches for Restrepo at Miami. A lot of ball. He's just the only one of those. Well, Io Manor didn't transfer. DK's the only one that did transfer. But we can tally, but by snaps, I bet he's the most experienced out of the 3 between Io Manor, and DK.
And certainly he's the most experienced with that quarterback. So I guess there is going to Titans fans, and I'm sure it's true of every fan base, right? Robert, is there a UDFA that you get excited about at Ravens camp every year?
Every single year. In fact, the guy I was excited about was only on a tryout basis and signed with the Buccaneers, so now I'm sad and lonely.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that for you. But every fan base, I'm sure, during training camp and the lead up to it, has a UDFA crush. I mean, for Titans fans, it's been perpetually. Mason Kinsey has a cult following, unlike most wide receivers of his ilk. And, you know, he's got some redeemable qualities that has allowed him to last in the NFL as long as he has, as a D3 wide receiver product out of what, Berry College is Mason Kinsey?
Georgia.
So what is a reasonable expectation that Titans fans would have, other than they're going to love him and there's reason to actually be over the top? It is excusable to be over the top in your excitement for a UDFA this year because of who this UDFA is.
This is the guy Titans fans would be grabbing onto no matter who the quarterback was, in my opinion. It is amplified because of how vocal Cam Ward has been about literally campaigning for Xavier Restrepo. But let's say there's an alternate universe where Shedeur Sanders was the consensus number 1 quarterback, and that's who the Titans took, and they still picked up UDFA Xavier Restrepo.
Still be excited.
That's who people would be excited about. It's a program like Miami that was a front-facing team last year, and he was the most productive player on that team. I'm trying to tally up just how many more career catches he has compared to DK and Io Manor, but it is definitely the most out of those 3.
So how he factors into this wide receiver room, because there's no guarantee that he's a roster lock or anything like that, though he would have a more favorable chance than your average UDFA wide receiver. I am curious to see, like, how big the gap is between what he brings is consistency. What he brings is reliability. What he brings is confidence in his hands, because he's just an incredibly productive player. It's like riding a bike. Him and Cam Ward, completely routine. How much of that does help him when he is clearly not the most physically talented player, certainly not the fastest player? And we'll spend more time on this tomorrow, what Brian Callahan had to say about it, because I had a back and forth with Brian on Saturday about the 40 time in particular that I think is worth hearing from the head coach on. So we'll stretch that out to tomorrow's show. But when you watch him, when you watch him at Miami, is that a player that screams to you, I'm going to run a 4.8 at my pro day? No, absolutely not. Now, he did run a 4.8 at his pro day, and by every report imaginable, he ran that poorly because of the hamstring injury. But he's also not overwhelmingly fast or tall or physically impressive. He is productive. How long can somebody like that last in the league? What is the benefit of that versus the things that can't be coached or taught or brought to the table, the traits that we talk about, traits versus production? And where does he fit in the mix? Now, the benefit of where he's landed is that this is a wide receiver room that is not productive. And so any level of production, or hasn't been productive, Tyler Lockett adding into the mix is going to bring resume that everybody but Calvin Ridley does not have, right? Calvin Ridley is productive, found ways to be productive with a terrible quarterback situation. But the rest of it is just kind of meh, and a couple of draft picks that are not yet proven at this level. I'm just curious to see how this wide receiver competition is going to play out.
I'm curious to see how many folks sign up for the 104.5 The Zone Golf Classic. Monday, June 9th, the Nashville Golf and Athletic Club presented by Ferguson. Flights at 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. Spend the day teeing off with us. We'll be broadcasting live 6 to 6, 1045thezone.com to purchase tickets. Can't wait. So Restrepo, in his 5-year career at Miami, caught 200 passes and 21 touchdowns. Io Manor had 125 career catches and 12 touchdowns at Stanford. DK, 139 career catches and 11 touchdowns at both Wisconsin and Florida combined. Transferred to Florida for his last year's most productive year of college football.
So considerably more.
Yeah. And let me ask you this. If the 40 time wasn't a thing, and we didn't do 40 times in the pre-draft process.
Or he just chose not to run it because he just chose not to run it.
Yeah. Where would Xavier Restrepo have been drafted? And would he have been drafted?
I think he would have been drafted. People were talking about him. I mean, the hype around him because of the production got as loud as day 2 at its peak. I mean, Robert, you're more of a draftnik than either of us. I would argue that Xavier Restrepo at worst would have been a 6th-round draft pick had he opted not to participate in the 40.
Sure, he would have been drafted if he didn't do it. A good example is Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan, who had the injuries with his knees, was like, oh, I'm not going to run at the combine. I'm going to run at my pro day. Don't worry about it. Then he didn't run at his pro day. So everybody was like, oh, his knees are so messed up. He's so messed up. Didn't he go in like the 2nd round still? He was, and don't get me wrong, I was a big fan of Will Johnson. I thought he was a top 10 player.
After Travis Hunter, he was arguably the best corner on the board.
He ended up going, 2nd round, 47 to Arizona.
So despite having the injury, the questions about it, not running, not seeing his straight line speed on the 40 times, still win as a 2nd-round pick.
And he brings a lot more of a talent ceiling to the table than does Xavier Restrepo. But again, I would ask you, what's more important here? Is it the talent ceiling or is it the production, the proven reliability of the player? Because he's got that in spades over basically everybody else in the room, and I would include some of the vets.
And I could argue that Restrepo's better tape happened more recently than Will Johnson. Like, Will Johnson's 22 and 23 tape was incredible. And the 24 was okay, a lot of him getting touched over the top. But Restrepo broke all these records at Miami in 24.
Yeah, so best year, career highs across the board last year.
615-737-1045 is the number. I just saw a news item that, I thought Chris Berman was retiring, but they're extending his contract.
Quite the opposite.
It's literally the opposite. Okay.
He is being extended, through 2027?
In 2029, he will become ESPN's first employee to celebrate his 50th anniversary with the network. So they are extending Boomer.
He's not going anywhere.
2029. That's going to make me sad. That's going to turn into a Lee Corso situation after a while.
Oh, stop. He's like 20 years younger than Corso.
Yeah, but I guess 2029 is not that far away. But
Chris Berman is like Nick Saban's age. Like, he's not like...
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's doing all right.
I thought he was way older than that.
He's 70.
Okay.
The video they put up for that is just photos of him with rights-free music underneath it. It's no one...
It's the most ESPN PR thing I've ever seen in my life.
No one talking about his time at ESPN. No one going over, like, what he'll be doing in the future. Just 3 minutes and 39 seconds of pictures of Chris Berman.
Of him sitting like this, staring off in the distance thoughtfully, like the thinker, the statue.
Chris Berman is 3 years younger than Bill Belichick.
That's crazy to me. Also, did you see what Pablo Torre did?
Oh, yeah. Oh, we talked about it extensively.
No.
Did you guys talk about Christmas? Like,
No, you idiots. As of this morning.
I did see also what he said this morning, yes.
Which is a totally different thing than the thing that you're referencing, which is that Jordan Hudson was allegedly banned from the football facility.
And then UNC said, no, she wasn't, and it has just been all over the place. The Jordan Hudson lore in all of this has been insane, has been crazy.
The most recent reporting from Pablo Torre, who had the initial report about Jordan Hudson and the North Carolina football program, is that there's a very real percentage chance Pablo Torre is reporting that Bill Belichick never coaches a game at UNC.
Yes, because of how his buyout is structured. Yes, to where the buyout would drop dramatically. I think it's after June 1st, at some point this summer, in anticipation of potentially NFL teams sniffing around and Belichick still having that interest. But Pablo Torre is saying NFL teams don't want any part of that at this point.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
He also He's
Can you
also,
imagine if he was doing this in the league?
Pablo Torre also reported this morning, he said, according to a source, Jordan Hudson's birth year on an internal UNC document made her appear a year older, and she may have actually been 19 when she first met Bill Belichick in 2021, a year younger than previously reported.
Oh, no.
And that's not even all the digging done on Jordan Hudson and, like, the past on some of the businesses her family owns.
The 64-year-old she was dating before Belichick? How old was she then?
It's crazy. So I know people are tired of hearing about it, but
she can't keep getting away with that.
Yeah, exactly. There have been twists and turns in this
is
thing.
way more interesting. I know Titans fans are hot and bothered about Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo, but like the additional layers that continue to come out about this story are crazy to me. Absolutely insane. Do you have Pablo Torre back there?
First, you're telling me that she squeezed the juice of 2 old men now? She's just taking all these old men for everything she's got?
Phrasing. Squeezed the juice.
It's not fair. It is not fair.
Oh, I wish you could have said any other thing but that.
You wanted something?
Play the audio.
Chance that he doesn't. And the reason I say that is because even before the Jordan Hudson thing became as public, even before it went from messy backstage to now, obviously messy everywhere, the date that matters the most is June 1st. So when this contract was reported, Dominique, when the terms of Belichick's Carolina contract that made him the highest paid public employee in the state were announced, everybody who follows contractual language pointed out that on June 1st, the buyout of Bill Belichick goes from $10 million to $1 million if Bill wanted the escape hatch, right? So if he wanted out, suddenly it was very interesting that the amount got 10 times less after June 1st. And so the question everybody is asking is, are things so dysfunctional behind the scenes when it comes to the power struggle, when it comes to what they are telling Bill to do? Don't have Jordan around anymore. Stop behaving in the way that you have. Basically telling him for the first time, really, right, that you're an employee and not the boss of this building in the way that he may have been assuming he would be. Then there is the ability for him to get out of it. And that's before you even consider the fact that stuff is so crazy when it comes to how his family feels, how the people around the school feel, that there is this larger, hey, so Coach met this woman when she was 19 years old on an airplane, and now she's kind of running his public image as his girlfriend. Is this something that's sustainable? Right? Is that fireable? What does he have to do to get fired? These are all active questions.
Crazy. This whole thing is crazy. Stoney says Bill Belichick going to be like, it was AI in 5 years. those pictures on the beach, AI. It was artificial intelligence.
I would buy that.
Buy what?
If he was like, it wasn't me, it was AI, I would be like, oh, that makes sense.
That video,
is he AI or is she?
That video of Jordan Hudson telling the interviewer for CBS that we're not talking about that to move on, it was artificial intelligence.
Go back and listen to it. She sounds like a robot. We are not talking about this. How do we miss this?
I can't get. It wasn't that funny. I can't
yes, it
get.
Was. It's the idea of going back and listening, and it's literally her. Like, it just sounds like a robot.
It sounds a little.
We are
more
not talking about this.
Static.
Come on, Billy, pick me up.
That went right over
Dress
our heads.
up like a
Billy.
Captain Gordon.
It's like a whizzing sound as she. Bzz, bzz. Man, that really went right
that
over
will
our
be
heads.
all.
Oh my God, I can't get enough of this story. It's insane. I know it's super TMZ, and it's the worst part. Like, this is not actual football, but it is.
No, but
fascinating.
Can you imagine if this thing fell apart to the point where?
Imagine being his son.
Steve, which one? There's multiple.
Well, he's got a daughter too.
If I was his son, I would be trying to steal Jordan away. I'd be like, leave that old man behind. Come on, let's take all his money.
What's the line? The line from Step Brothers. She's
had the old bull.
Now come get the young calf.
She wants the young calf. I know this is a big deal because my mom asks me about this.
Yeah, my mom too.
And she's like, oh, what's Bill Belichick doing? Did he break up with her yet? Is he available? Where do you think I can meet him? I'm like, Mom, calm down. Jeez. One football legend at a time.
We're still awaiting the DNA results from 23andMe about your status as Jerry Jones' illegitimate child.
You must have got lost in the mail.
Well, I think I got an email from 23andMe that they went bankrupt, but I don't know if that was just like a gotcha type situation. We got all the data. Now we're going
They're
bankrupt.
just giving you a heads up.
Yeah, just a heads up to shutter and shop with all of your information.
I can't imagine the division right now amongst the powers that be in North Carolina.
Well, because there was division on the front end. Do you remember
exactly.
that?
There was division on firing Mac Brown, on hiring
imagine?
Bill Belichick. They have to be at each other's throats right now.
But who's the most talked about? I mean, this is not the most important thing, but this is the Jerry Jones theory, right? They are the most. They're Colorado. They have overtaken all. It's impossible to get Deion Sanders out of the limelight in college football, and yet here's Bill with as much attention as I would argue has ever been paid to the North Carolina football program.
23andMe did file for bankruptcy.
Okay, I was right. That's crazy.
And every, I don't know what AG means. You guys know, Attorney General. Attorney Generals from multiple states are urging people to delete their 23andMe data as the company plans to sell their information to
that's
Scrap.
awesome.
So the key points of this article.
That can't be legal.
Oh, I can't wait for Buck's identity to be stolen.
23andMe filed for bankruptcy after a 2023. That's funny. It happened in 23andMe in 2023. After a data breach affected over 6 million customers. And
you should have said 23 million.
And decreased demand. The second point, Oklahoma Attorney General Gunther Drummond, hell yeah, nothing's going to happen under Gunther's watch, advised Oklahomans who use 23andMe's service to delete their data due to the company's plan to sell assets, including potentially user-generated genetic data. 23andMe assures users that their data will remain private regardless of who acquires the company. I don't believe you, citing privacy policies and applicable laws. So 23andMe, everybody about to know who your daddy is. Everybody's about to find out how straight that family tree is. Y'all better go delete y'all's information right now.
Jesus.
Oh, man. Somebody's going to be purchasing a yacht on the other side of the world as
Daddy.
Buck's official under Buck's Social Security.
Well, this idiot already tried to Venmo me for $100,000.
And I'll do it again.
Last call for phone calls next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Last call for phone calls. If you got them, 615-737-1045 is the number. You can leave this Dua Lipa on as long as you like. I can't believe you're not going to that concert with me.
It's on a Tennessee game day.
Yeah, well, you would take a week of vacation when they played Alabama because you were so traumatized.
Those were different, painful times. Things are better now.
You think it's going to go better for you this year, do you?
Oh, it's going to go better than it was then, Buck. Sometimes I still think you have no concept of just how bad it was. Like, we're talking about, oh, God, we might win 7 or 8 games this year instead of 9 or 10. There was a time where it was a much worse conversation than that.
So there is a pretty significant news item that we have not talked about that came out about an hour ago. Michael Jordan's going to start doing commentary for NBC.
This is going to be another Tom Brady situation.
Where he's bad?
Slap the GOAT on there, even though he's not.
Someone has to fund Scottie Pippen's ex-wife's vacations.
I am surprised. I mean,
is she still dating Michael Jordan's son?
Yes. Sorry for cutting you off, Luke.
No, it's okay. MJ doesn't, I don't know, the dude's a billionaire. Literally, a billionaire with a B.
Yeah.
Like, he just wants to get back in it for the love of the game.
I mean, he may be bored. You don't know.
Yeah.
And these jobs are fun, and maybe he's looking forward to being back around basketball. To me, though, he's not going to be better than Charles Barkley and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie. There's no way. It's impossible. No outlet. College Game Day is the closest thing that has been able, and you could probably make the argument, depending on who you are. If you're more of a college football fan, you probably think College Game Day is better. If you're more of an NBA fan, you probably think Inside the NBA is better. But they're both the industry standard, right? Everybody's chasing College Game Day, and Inside the NBA is studio shows.
When's the last time we heard an opinion from Michael? Was it the documentary? Was it COVID?
Yes.
Yeah, he doesn't get out there that much.
No, I mean, he'll talk about NASCAR, but basketball opinions.
And the Big Blue Rock Marlin tournament in Eastern North Carolina.
Okay.
He funds a boat for that. But didn't he sell his majority stake in the Hornets? I don't believe he's a majority owner anymore.
He did. Yeah, so he's removed that part of his life. So maybe he just wants to be back around basketball, except not terrible basketball teams like the Hornets.
Right.
I just wonder how that's going to go. Because, all right, so inside the NBA, do people go to them for their basketball talk? I would argue not really, because it usually just devolves into, well, they couldn't have played in our day, and it's just a lot of, but they're funny, right? They're exceptionally entertaining. You never know what's going to come out of any of their mouths, except for Ernie, because he's just trying to keep a handle on the thing at any given point. But it's not like their basketball insight and analysis is so excellent that's why they're excellent. They're excellent because they're just entertaining human beings.
Yeah.
Around the sport of basketball. And it's not like I'm not alleging that they don't know anything about basketball, but they're not getting in the advanced metrics on some of these games or some of these performances that they have. They're just talking shop. Is MJ going to be more entertaining than those guys? I can't envision a way. But it's NBC getting back in the NBA game as the rights now redistribute. Inside the NBA is now going to be on ESPN after this season. It's crazy that LeBron James getting eliminated, the Lakers getting eliminated, was the last time we're going to see LeBron on TNT.
Also, the Rich Eisen show headed to ESPN.
Did see that. My media news
came out this morning, yeah.
But he is not himself going back to ESPN.
I don't know. Yeah, his show was on the Roku channel. So Rich Eisen could still feasibly work for NFL Network, and his show is on ESPN. So we'll see.
I would be shocked, though.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, that is an interesting development because obviously that would impact draft coverage and all manner of other things. All right. Last call for phone calls before we update some polls. Let's go to Eli up next.
Gentlemen.
Hello.
And Lucas. How'd you like that series, huh? It's crazy to see the Vols get their first loss since Tony Vitello invented the sport of college baseball in 2022.
Eli,
on top.
I am so happy that Vandy fans have a reason to be chesty. I am going to point out to you that Tennessee has lost 4 SEC series this season.
Is that correct? His 4th straight SEC series loss for Tennessee.
4th straight. Okay, so it's a little.
No. Let him talk the talk.
Okay,
right?
Go ahead.
Vandy's back on the winning side.
You see Twitter and you think they'd never lost a game ever in their series. The whole sport.
Yeah, but that's like saying I went on Vandy Twitter and they act like they've never won a game in their lives. Like that's.
mean, dude. But anyways.
Is this the Vandy Fight song?
Yeah, I've never heard it before.
I've never heard this either.
This is we're debuting the Vandy Fight song on this show.
Okay.
Oh, and then he hung up. That was for you. That was for him.
What?
I just played it for him, and he just hangs up on us.
Well, that was a terrible call.
No, clutch hitting, clutch defense for Vanderbilt. They were aggressive on the bases. Tennessee could not handle Vandy's base stealing. 10 bases stolen in game 2 alone in that 10-run performance. Well-deserved. Tennessee kind of made that push at the end there, bottom of the ninth, loaded up the bases down 2.
Luke is trying to be diplomatic. This man tried to call in and poorly trash talk him, and he's like, look, you did so good. Look, I'm helping you.
He is a great loser. The greatest.
Hang the banner.
God,
the greatest loser. We'll put it in the studios. We should hang banners in here.
We should.
What are we, the Nashville Predators now? We're going to build a statue outside of the station for people who've never won championships like the hockey team does?
That's what the city was calling you when you had that mustache.
Play some Pulse and go home.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer. Which Titans rookie are you most excited about outside of Cam Ward? Ashley says, after all the videos from this weekend, Femi Oladejo, the pass rusher from UCLA, a lot of folks submitted Femi. Ike in there saying Oladejo for sure. Cristoforo saying he's all in on Femi Oladejo. Dallas says Femi. A lot of love for Femi, who's got good energy.
Yeah, people are just attracted to that for sure. And he may end up being a legit contributor on a team that desperately needs pass rush. I'm fascinated by him too, but it's less about the person. I mean, the personality is a nice component, but I want to see if he can do this job at a high level.
It'll be interesting because he's a very developmental prospect, right? Less than 1 season playing edge rusher, but he is...
Yeah, it was like 3 games in that they moved him from off-ball linebacker to edge.
But he also plays in probably the biggest position of need still left on this roster.
By a mile.
With the pass rush. So he's going to have every opportunity. Jack and Joe both say Gunnar Helm is who they are most excited about. Only 1 or 2 responses in here saying Xavier Restrepo. I thought there might be a couple more.
I am surprised to hear that there are not more, but that's okay. There's a bunch of different players out there that are interesting. You don't have to get caught up on the one just because he played with the quarterback in college.
Who do you want to win the Tennessee football QB job? Majority, 57.3%, say Joey Aguilar. 24.7% going with George McIntyre. Only 18% say Jake Merklinger. Maybe McIntyre getting a little local love out of Brentwood Academy. Who or what is Derek Carr's next venture? Preacher, coach, unretired, back in football, or TV? About 40% are voting TV. That's where most of the votes went. Second went to Preacher, 26%. And then a very narrow margin, 17.2% say unretired, 16.9% say coach.
I still think it's so weird the way that he chose to air his grievances in front of I assume it's his church group, or he's speaking to a church group.
It was in Vegas. It was a church in Vegas.
I'm sure weirder things have happened at churches in Vegas, but it was bizarre. He starts taking pot shots at ESPN and Diana.
Yeah. And what was your first reaction to the NFL season opener being Cowboys versus Eagles? Rex says, meh. Karen says, meh. Dallas says, bleep yes, football. John
that's fair.
Said, how many maniacs in the crowd will Pickens try and fight?
I wonder how that's going to go. I'm fascinated. The Cowboys, again, are interesting. They are so unimportant.
Those are the polls.
Very good. That's the show. Good to be back. Thanks for hanging. Podcast will be up and available. Keep an eye out for part 2 of the audio version of the install, which will be dropping in that podcast feed with Titans head coach Brian Callahan tomorrow. See you tonight on Primetime.